fucking adjusting my schedule
Hmm.
because I thought I was just gonna get a Dunkin' Energy Punch, and now all of a sudden I'm doing this podcast. That was my idea.
Sorry, did you think... So you were getting a Dunkin' Energy Punch without thinking that it was for the podcast.
Are you recording?
I'm recording.
Okay.
And I even called you 2 days ago, not explicitly to do this. It was a mistake, actually. But I reminded you, hey, we have a podcast in 2 days.
Yeah.
So today, you woke up at noon, went to Dunkin' Donuts, and said, I'm going to get a Monster Energy Punch for no reason.
Excuse me.
And then I called.
Excuse me.
Yeah?
Excuse you.
You're
it was
excused.
a Rockstar Energy Punch.
Sorry, Rockstar Energy Punch for no reason. And then I call you to be like, hey, it's 12:30. We're recording sometime between noon and 1. Are you almost ready to record? And that's when you said, oh, yeah, I had the idea to do a podcast today.
Well, no, I mean, I don't remember how it all shook out, but I knew that we had to do a podcast. I didn't remember that it was so soon, but, you know, I knew it was happening. So what's been happening is Dunkin' Donuts, Dunkin', formerly Dunkin' Donuts, it's X.com now, don't call it Dunkin' Donuts, or Elon Musk will send the Munchkin Squad to arrest you.
By the way, if you're anywhere in the world apart from America, it's what America runs on.
Oh, yeah. I know you thought it was war crime and soft power imperialism, but it's actually Dunkin'.
It's actually Dunkin', yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is a place known for not very good coffee and donuts and breakfast things. But I told Cheryl, I was like, Cheryl, I've been drinking this Dunkin' Electric Raz Rockstar Energy Punch that's bright green because I don't like coffee and I got bored of drinking coffee every day. So I started drinking this Electric Raz Energy Punch. And Cheryl was curious about it, and so she roped me into going to Dunkin' Donuts on the one day of the week that I don't have to go to Dunkin' Donuts. We drove past like 3
It's funny how many jobs
you've
you've had where your routine for that job started with you getting something disgusting at Dunkin' Donuts.
That's not true.
Because it used to be tuna salad. And now it's Rockstar Energy.
That's not the same.
And I know someone out there might not be connecting the dots and saying, hey, I like tuna salad. Tuna salad's not disgusting. It's from Dunkin' Donuts. That's the part that makes it disgusting.
It wasn't very good. But I'll remind you, that was not the start of my workday. That was the end of my workday because it was a 12 to 8 a.m. shift. So I would be getting off at 8 a.m. in the morning being like, I want dinner. And the only place serving anything remotely resembling that was Dunkin' Donuts had tuna bagel sandwiches at the time.
You know, you had a home that you lived in. You could have like bought a frozen dinner or something and had that at 8 a.m.
Oh, a frozen dinner. You know what? I probably didn't think of that. That was probably too far outside my cognitive sphere.
Okay, I mean, I hear the sarcasm, but maybe is that true?
No,
because you
instead
were
eating plenty of frozen garbage. Like I love the idea. Like I thought you were gonna be like, you could have cooked something, and I would have been like, come on,
I'm granting you.
This was 12 years ago. I was a stupid baby, and I was exhausted from working every night. But then you come to me with frozen food. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure I was eating frozen food constantly. I probably ate frozen food like in the toaster oven at work, and then came out of work like, I want real food, like tuna salad out of a plastic container at Dunkin' Donuts.
Right. Yeah.
They scooped it out of the plastic container. They pretended
they scooped it with an ice cream scoop. It's so gross.
No, I don't think they did that.
They did. They had like the ice cream scoop that has the button that you press that like wipes it clear.
Yeah. No, but I'm imagining like their cream cheese containers, but it had tuna in it. I thought they were individual tuna packs per sandwich.
Oh, maybe
Are you sure
that's
you're not
true.
just thinking of Subway?
Maybe I'm
Subway
thinking of
uses an
Subway.
ice cream scoop for tuna.
Yeah. Maybe I'm just thinking of Subway. I've never gotten tuna salad from Dunkin' Donuts, so I'm not intimately familiar with their setup.
And no one did except me, and that's why you can't get it anymore.
Yeah.
Anyways, there's a silly energy punch, and we went to go get some. It's pretty silly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's bright green. On the side how they have like the little sticker, and it'll be like, here was what you asked for. You asked for a caramel macchiato with 3 shots of who gives a shit and double foam or whatever the fuck.
Right.
And on here it says large Raz energy punch, and this is like the extra add-ons. It's 1 Rockstar, 2 blue Raz syrup, 1 pineapple syrup, 2 pineapple syrup.
That's so much syrup.
Yeah, it's really syrupy, and a lot of Dunkin' employees won't mix the drinks really well. So if you go to...
I've been to Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you've been to Dunkin' Donuts, you probably already knew you had to mix your own goddamn drink. But these ones you really do, or you're just drinking syrup.
Yeah. It is... I mean, I'm going to say this. It's going to sound like a complaint, but I actually sort of admire it.
Okay.
You will not find a type of employee more willing to half-ass absolutely everything than
It's
a
so
Dunkin'
true.
Donuts employee, except maybe like at a 1 a.m. Taco Bell drive-thru.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I think that these are the employees that are like, I'm just constantly amazed. Like, I can't believe that you're not afraid of getting fired for this.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, though, is that they work at Dunkin' Donuts.
Right, so they've already been fired from the 6 better places.
Well, I was going to say, like, it's the busiest, most worstest place to work at.
Oh, that is an interesting take on Dunkin' Donuts, because all the Dunkin' Donuts near me are perpetually empty.
Oh, no. Well, I mean, it's like the lightning hell zone between, like, 7 and 9 a.m.,
sure.
right?
Yeah.
But I just imagine their job sucks so bad that they're constantly about to quit anyway. So they are just constantly on that, like, I wish a motherfucker would energy. Like, I'm not going to put the everything dust on this avocado toast. And if that fucking manager says one thing about it, I'm walking out the door.
Right. This is like every Dunkin' Donuts employee basically is the real life version of what is his name? Kevin Anderson from White Castle.
Oh,
he's gonna burn this motherfucker down.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's not that guy's name. I don't think.
I think it is.
Is it Michael Anderson? No, Anthony Anderson.
Anthony Anderson.
I thought you were.
Kevin Anderson is not that far off from Anthony Anderson.
Well, no, I just knew it wasn't the right one. But I thought you were gonna pull the half-baked Burger King scene. The fuck you, you're cool, fuck you.
I've never seen that movie.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, that scene, that's the true classic. I mean, I think I just gave you the whole thing, but
Sure. Yeah.
That's just I feel in my mind that is like the classic I quit line that's burned into everyone's head is fuck you, you're cool, fuck you.
That's maybe true. I feel like I thought a lot about arson when I was wanting to quit places.
Yeah, it just makes me want to burn a motherfucker down.
Yeah. But yeah, it is just like the worst places to work. Almost nowhere I think is worse to work than Dunkin' Donuts. And you don't even have the solace of working a different shitty place like Starbucks, which in a lot of ways is worse than Dunkin' Donuts because they actually care about the store.
I would
and how
imagine it's
run.
worse. Yeah, it's like because the people who go to Starbucks are the people that are like, and Dunkin' Donuts always gets my order wrong.
But unfortunately, the Dunkin' Donuts people are like that too.
Starbucks
They're
people?
like, no, the Dunkin' Donuts people are also like, you always get my order wrong.
Well, have they tried not getting the order wrong? I'm just asking questions.
This is a sort of axis on which this is so impressive to me, where it's like Dunkin' Donuts and Taco Bell are the places where people will be wrong in ways where it would have been easier to do it right than to get it right. Like, it's sort of like hostile, poor job performance.
Oh, yeah.
You're working to make things worse.
There was one time at a lot of times, like, I'm ordering, I shouldn't order, it's bad to order a bunch of food from Dunkin' Donuts every day, if for no other reason than it's expensive. And sometimes they're getting my order wrong and I'm just accepting it and moving on with my day because I don't have the time or energy. But, like, there was one time where, like, I opened up the box for my breakfast sandwich and then I had to go to the manager and be like, I'm really sorry, but could I get 2 slices of bread with this sandwich, please?
That's so funny.
Just one slice of bread sandwich.
I didn't go to Dunkin' Donuts for years because I used to go to get their sausage, egg, and cheese on a croissant.
Croissant. Yeah.
I recently stopped going again because I think they changed the croissant and it's bad now.
That's so funny because I was about to be like, those croissants are fucking disgusting.
Yeah, they used to be good.
How much? No, they didn't.
Yeah.
How much worse could they be now?
Well, now it almost feels texturally like a roll, like a Kaiser roll. No, not like a Kaiser roll. That's too like a brioche bun is what it.
Whoa.
So it's like way too bready. It's not flaky at all. There's no buttery, flaky layers to it.
Now I admit to being one of those apparently few people who does not appreciate la croissant. I always felt like it was too flaky, too buttery. The whole point of it.
Right, the whole point of it. Right.
Too flimsy.
So,
but I mean,
this is the grounds on which you're critiquing the original croissant.
Well, but we're talking about a croissant sandwich, and it was always just absurd to me. It's like this is not sandwich bread. It's it's squishy, it's flat, it's buttery. Which I don't know if that's always desirable on a breakfast sandwich, but it just seems wrong to me. But apparently, I'm the only one that thinks that because if you go to the Dunkin' app and ask for a breakfast sandwich, it just defaults to croissant. Like they just assume
the croissant
that's what
is
you
really
want.
The way to go, or it was until they changed it.
Well, now
they changed it to appease the breadheads.
They've got sourdough. They've got sourdough slices now. Those are pretty good.
No, the only thing that's good that they had on their entire menu is the sausage, egg, and cheese on a croissant. Nothing else is worth eating.
Not even the plain and everything bagels?
I like the bagels. Sure, the bagels are fine.
Let me tell you about this avocado toast they've got, Keith.
I don't want avocados from Dunkin' Donuts.
I mean, it's not bad though. Well, here's the thing, right? I'm seeing the avocado toast on their menu, and I'm like, I don't want avocado. Well, first of all, my general opinion about avocado toast is like, avocado toast. That's not enough stuff. I don't just want avocados. Even guacamole, that's mostly avocado, but you zhuzh it up a little bit.
If I'm having plain avocado, like if I'm having like a meal where the meal part of it is an avocado, I'm not putting it on bread. I'm slicing it up, giving it a little drizz of olive oil or honey.
Oh my goodness!
Sprinkling it with some flaky salt.
He's taking it to dinner. He's introducing it to his mother.
And then maybe you get a little scoop of cottage cheese on the side.
Whoa, that's wild.
Once you put it on bread, it's like this is trash to me. Unless it's a very topping heavy thing, and then it's really just like an open faced sandwich heavily featuring avocado.
Right. And I won't say that this avocado toast is gonna change your mind about that, but I'll tell that I appreciated one day. I think I went insane and ordered the avocado toast for some reason that I can't explain. But when it came to me, I saw that they sprinkle the avocado toast with the dust that they put on everything bagels, and that was pretty good.
Okay,
pretty good.
I'm not that big of a fan of an everything bagel.
Aww.
I used to really like them.
Oh my God, we have to end the podcast.
I used to really like them, but now I think it takes
Can't
away.
believe we went this many years. I realize I can't do a podcast or a YouTube channel with someone who doesn't like everything bagels.
I'll eat them. I just think that the intensity of the everything
It's not enough.
takes away from the flavor of the bagel itself.
What? This is not, and again, for anyone outside places where they sell everything bagels, I have to be clear. It's not really everything. It's actually a pretty limited set of ingredients.
The scope is pretty narrow. It's a pretty fucked definition of everything.
It's, what do we got? We're talking
Car tires, ketchup,
kitchen sink, standard.
BBs.
Like another lost Kennedy grandchild.
Yeah.
They have to get one for everything.
The glue
bagel.
from Stamps. The stamps from Stamps.
Everything bagels have sesame seeds, poppy seeds, dehydrated
That's what
onion
I'm talking
flakes.
about. Poppy seed. That's
And-
the bagel for me, baby.
I mean, everything bagel is just a poppy bagel with sesame seeds and onion on it.
The onion's too much.
Too much?
It's and when
Oh
I
my
want an
God.
onion bagel, the seeds distract from the onion.
Oh, jeez.
So I'll either get
Are you listening to this maniac? Do you hear this person?
the seeds distract from the onion when I
Okay.
want onion. The onion distracts from the seeds when I want seeds.
Okay. You know, my daughter, Amelia Rose, she's 8. She's in that zone now where she's just about ready to start branching out into some more adventurous foods, but very reticent. So she's actually on board with the everything bagel because it's weird and it's called everything. It sounds like a challenge. It's like if I can eat this, I can eat literally anything.
Yeah.
And so she's on board with everything bagels, but to her, onion is still like a red flag word, because she's a child. So I'll be like she likes onion, she likes everything bagels, but she won't try an onion bagel. And I keep trying to convince her, no, an onion bagel is literally just everything bagel with a few less things on it. And I've had to show her, point it out. See, these are the onion bits on here. These are the onion bits on here.
Did you ever smell it?
I'm trying to prove to her that she already likes onion bagels, but she's not quite ready to believe me.
Did you ever smell them? They smell basically the same.
Good point. Good point.
Yeah, I'd be like, look, it smells the same.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Is she's an 8-year-old child, so she's convinced that onions are gross, and I'm trying to do the Jedi mind trick of what if I told you
Everything you already like contains onions?
You already like onions. Mind blown.
That is always this is something that I picked up quick as a kid, I think, is to I like onions, I like garlic, I like these things that smell strong on their own but actually are already in everything. I think it happened with me with mayo. I think that was the one time where it really got me. Where it's of course you like mayonnaise. I make you a tuna sandwich every day. That's mayonnaise.
I'm still just barely on board with mayonnaise.
I love mayonnaise. Mayonnaise is the condiment of the kings.
And of course, classic one is black pepper, right? Because you smell that as a kid, and it's just the worst fucking smell. You're like, who would want food to taste like that? Are you insane?
Well, to be fair to black pepper, that's only because that pepper is stale. It smells like
true.
shitty cardboard because it's a bad pepper. But I was always...
That's also true, but my point is that pepper in food does not taste the way pepper on its own smells, because you're smelling 100 meals worth of pepper all at once.
Sure, yeah. My dad was a big pepper person and would load up pizza with crushed red pepper and black pepper. Yeah. And it was spicy, and I liked spicy early. So for me, pepper was a very early, I can do this because it's spicy and I like spicy. So I want to try it. And so I've always liked pepper. Love a big pepperoni pizza with a bunch of pepper on there.
Oh, Keith,
Yeah.
pepperoni, that's a meat product. It's not a vegetable. I know you
What
just
a
thought it
silly
was
misunderstanding this is.
Yeah, I know you just thought it was the Italian word for pepper.
Pepperoni. Yeah,
Hey,
like a black
hey,
pepper.
Bob's, throw some pepperoni on there.
I do know that, fortunately, and I was thinking of a pizza that both includes pepperoni and pepper.
Wow. That's amazing. Have you... Oh, shit. Okay. I was about to be like... and I'm sorry to bring up this topic from the previous podcast, but I was about to ask, have you ordered from Domino's lately? And then I remembered that you probably have not.
No, I have not.
They've started doing this amazing thing in their app.
Oh, this ought to be good.
Well, it's not. It's what's amazing about it is how utterly perplexing it is. But just like out of nowhere, banana peppers, they have, many pizza toppings that you can ask for.
Right.
And one of those things is banana peppers. And just all of a sudden, one day, the app started asking you, like, every time you order a pizza, it goes like, hey, you want to throw some banana peppers on there for extra flavor? And you can just say yes or no. And they don't charge you extra for banana peppers. They just like upsell you banana peppers on every pizza.
Are gratis?
I think they may be gratis. Well, maybe not. Maybe they do charge you for those peppers. Maybe that's their angle on this whole thing. I kind of imagined that they were about to phase out banana.
The idea of staring at your Domino's app and going, "What's your angle on this?" Domino's, what are you thinking?
Well, I'm honestly over here being like, is there somebody who's is banana peppers a problem for them because they're like, some people love them and won't order a pizza without them, but most people don't eat them. We're throwing away millions of pounds of banana peppers. We gotta convince more people to eat banana peppers.
No, I'll tell you why you're wrong. First of all, banana peppers are great. You're right that some people don't like them, but they're extremely shelf stable.
Yeah.
They're pickles. They last for like 2 years.
Yeah, I guess you're right. It's just like, I go in there, I'm like, hey, give me a medium handmade pan Philly cheesesteak pizza. And they're like, you want to throw some banana peppers on there? Just like, why are you doing this? And last time I was like, you know what? You've asked me, I've said no 100 times, but this time you got me. Put some fucking banana peppers on there.
And how was it?
It was fine.
Right,
it was like
Domino's, so you can't really get more complimentary than that.
It was the pizza that I like and meant to order, and then there was banana peppers on it. So like it was pretty good. I like banana peppers, but I was also like, yeah, but I don't.
Yeah.
That's why I don't order this with banana peppers. It doesn't really go with it.
This is a good sort of like max compliment to give to Domino's. Like, oh, how's your pizza? Well, I ordered it on purpose. I did order it on purpose, so it was my meal. Yes,
I meant more to say.
No,
like, I know, but I was trying to highlight the fact that it was like, well, you ordered something, and then at the last second they pressured you into adding a different ingredient you didn't ask for. How'd it turn out? It's like, well, it was the pizza that I asked for, and then there was this extra, slightly unwanted ingredient thrown on top. So
right, I can tell because you told me that. They didn't guess that banana peppers would be good on this particular pizza. They're just saying it for everything.
Take some banana peppers.
That it's a hit are pretty low.
Yeah. We're a banana pepper appreciating household, so I don't just want to be like, never give me banana peppers. I'll fucking die before you put those yellow bastards down my throat. So I was like, hey, maybe
Have you met a household like that?
Oh my God. I'm out there on the mail route. I'm delivering mail. And sometimes I go up to a house and I don't even like to get that close to the front door because I see they got a big sticker that says, forget a Mazzetta. And that's how I know they don't like banana peppers.
Does everyone know what banana peppers are? I'm now
Yeah,
thrown,
I don't know.
I'm now thrown on like what is a regional thing because I learned something was regional that I didn't know is regional recently.
Yeah, it could literally be anything at any time.
It's like a mild chili pepper that's been pickled.
Oh,
so it's
Keith,
like
the words mild, chili pepper, and pickled are all New England regionalisms. No one understands what you just said.
So, in terms of capsaicin content, this pepper has very little of it. Chili pepper is a
Sorry,
kind of...
Keith, the rest of the world doesn't have capsaicin. They only have tough actin tinactin.
Okay, so... Wait, is tinactin spicy or is it mild?
I think capsaicin might be the active ingredient in tinactin.
Okay, so this pepper doesn't have a lot of tinactin in it. So when you eat it, it doesn't hurt your tongue at all. But they put it in a jar full of vinegar and some other spices to preserve it, and it gives it a bite, a piquant bite to it.
Bite piquant.
And what was the other thing that they didn't know?
I stopped paying attention. I started Googling tinactin, so I don't know what we're talking about anymore.
Okay.
It looks like I'm wrong. It looks like tinactin is actually a topical antifungal cream, which I don't think capsaicin would help with. It actually sounds like a bad mix. It's, of course, icy hot that I believe contains capsaicin along with its
Do you want to know
imitators.
the food that I learned was a Massachusetts/New England regional food?
Go ahead.
Steak tips.
Oh, yeah, I saw this. That's... Well, no, but there were people that were like, I live in Minnesota. We have steak tips.
Almost everyone who said that they knew what steak tips were said that they have seen them at restaurants but never seen anyone order them.
Right. Yeah,
so they were like,
that
I
was
know
really
what
weird.
it is, and there's a couple places with it, but I don't, I haven't had them.
Yeah.
Or seen anyone have them.
And I mean, it doesn't mean anything really. It's just it's like a cut up type of steak into strips or something.
It's like
but
lesser. It's a flap steak usually, but it's usually like a lesser part of the sirloin that gets cut into like not quite bite size, but like 2 to 4 bites tips, and it's usually like heavily marinated and smothered with like onions or onions and mushrooms, something like that.
yeah, no, but you're right though, because I think the part of your surprise is that like here in New England, steak tips is not something that we think of as a regional food at all. It's just something that is like on every restaurant menu and people order it all the time. And like if you were starting a restaurant in Massachusetts and one of your primary things that you're selling is steak,
you'd have steak tips.
You'd have steak tips on the menu day one. You'd be like, oh, well, obviously we need steak tips on here.
Yeah. You can think of it sort of like like smothered steak or smothered chicken, like that. It's that sort of thing. It's very saucy. There's a lot of onion, and it is like hunks of steak. It's really good. And it's also usually a really good value because it is like lesser cuts of steak that they cook slow. I haven't had steak tips in a long time, but thinking about them made me very hungry for steak tips.
They're tender. They're always nice.
They're very tender, yeah, because they're nice and slow cooked usually.
Okay. Okay, yeah. This is oh my god. Holy shit. I'm on drugs.com. I went to the capsaicin page because I was like, just tell me every drug that has capsaicin. It's a lot of things.
Oh, that's interesting.
But the most notable brand names are Capsin, Capsaicin HP, Castivo Warming, Icy Hot with Capsaicin, and Menthac Arthritis Cream with Capsaicin. And now you know. But don't forget about the Salon Toss Gel Patch or the Zostrix Neuropathy or the Zostrix Diabetic Foot Pain or Zostrix foot pain, or Zostrix maximum strength, or Zostrix maximum strength foot pain.
Once you said capsin, I immediately remembered what capsin is.
Yeah, I thought maybe there was actually a brand name called capsaicin, but spelled differently. But I guess that's capsin.
Yeah, I can think of the logo. It looks like toothpaste.
And that's been your medical minute.
That's been
Here
your
on
medical minute.
This episode of Run Button. Capsaicin, better in peppers than on your athlete's foot.
Oh, I don't know that that's true. I think it might be really good on your athlete's foot.
No, we just talked about that earlier.
Well, I know that they don't sell it for that, but we doesn't mean it's not good for it.
Oh, okay. So when I said earlier I don't think that'd be good, and you laughed like, yeah, it wouldn't be good, you've had a change of heart now.
Yeah, I decided to flip on that. I decided I actually like the idea.
Well, you know what they say.
Don't knock until you try it. That's what they say.
Any man below 30 who doesn't want to put capsaicin on his fungal infection has no heart. But any man over 30 who doesn't want to put capsaicin on his fungal infection has no brain.
Wow. Yeah, they say that, and we all have heard that, and it's just rare enough of a thing to hear to sound important, but just said often enough to not be impressive that you said it.
Really the kind of thing that's as impressive as whoever is saying it.
Yeah. And as dumb.
Well, I think that was implied.
Yeah. I'm just being specific.
There's a negative spectrum to impressiveness. Hey, Keith.
Yeah.
Boy, we're only 30 minutes into this podcast. What you been playing?
That's the cold open.
Yeah, that was the cold open. You guys just heard
how did you
intro.
like the theme song? You still like that song?
They love that
Listeners?
song.
Yeah, you
They
still
love
like
it.
that?
You know, normally when we have one of these, I just put it at the beginning. I don't like, we have times where there's been 45 minutes and I go, oh no, we didn't do an intro. And you're like, no, that was the cold open. The intro goes here. I don't really do that. That'd be crazy.
But this time you've got to do it.
All right, I'll do it. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Run Button Podcast. It is Sunday, July 30th, 2023 at 1:40 p.m. Eastern Summertime. Eastern Daylight Time. Sorry, I thought I was in England for a second. My name's Kyle Churchill, and with me, as always, is the sad boy that lives inside my subconscious, Keith J. Carberry.
Hi. It's another day, I guess.
Oh, did we catch you on a bad day, sad boy?
Yeah, well, it's your subconscious, and, I haven't had a lot of a break. We've been doing a lot of walking around.
Yeah.
I'm just tired.
Yeah. I guess I wouldn't imagine that a subconscious gets tired from walking, since it's in the mind and it's not even in the forefront of the mind, but it
my primary thing is to be sad, so I'm sad about whatever.
Yeah, you know what? That does sound really familiar.
Yeah.
Now I know who you are. Yeah. I've seen you a bunch of times, actually. It's one of those faces that you forget as soon as it leaves your vision because you don't want to remember it.
It actually helps that you haven't been doing anything fun with your time, because I'd just be sad about that. It'd be even more weird.
Oh, yeah. I've been there. Fun. Hey, sad, subconscious sad boy that lives in my subconscious. You been playing any games recently? Any video games?
Yeah, but it's not even worth talking about.
No. That can't be true, sad boy. We still want to hear about it.
Okay, I've been playing MLB The Show 23 again.
Oh, that's actually pretty stupid. Don't talk about that.
Yeah, I know.
Talk about something better than that.
Okay, I've been playing Yakuza 5.
Okay, Jesus Christ. You really are a broken record. I mean, I don't want to sound too negative. I know you're not in a good place right now, but seriously, could you bring anything new to the table?
No.
All right, tell me about the show.
You still hit the ball.
And I just want to be clear. I don't care about this, but I just don't want you to feel like I don't care about you. So since I care about you, I'm going to listen to this thing about this game I don't care about. Go ahead.
I actually don't have anything to say about this game. It's still fun. It's just I'm good. I'm getting good at it. Who's
the guy? You know, that controversial player? Who's the controversial player? You know?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, come on. He got did he get kicked out of the major leagues or something? What happened to that guy?
Oh, yeah, Trevor
Lautner.
No. Bauer.
Oh, yeah. The other one's Taylor Lautner. It's not even another Trevor. It was like a fake joke I just made.
Is that who you're talking about?
I was talking about Trevor Bauer.
That was a few years ago. That was
probably
2
not in the
years
game,
ago.
huh? Is he?
Yeah, he still sexually assaulted someone and still isn't playing for the Dodgers.
Oh, that happened?
Yeah.
Oh.
Is that maybe not who you're talking about then? You said the Trevor that got in trouble, so that's the Trevor that got in trouble.
Is he the guy with the bendy bar?
Bendy bar?
Who's the guy with the bendy bar who's always holding a bendy bar to exercise his muscles? Is that guy?
I don't know. I don't think so.
What? Who is the guy? Okay,
this is a pitcher.
What?
This is a pitcher.
Yeah, the pitcher, and he was the guy with the sticky stuff controversy.
Oh yeah, that's him.
He was mad about it, and then he was doing it, and then he got in trouble for it. Yeah. He's got a bendy bar that he holds.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know
to exercise his muscles, and he's always like, my teammates always make fun of me because my bendy bar, but they don't know how great it is, and that's why I'm the best or whatever.
It sounds insane. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I cannot believe
you don't. Bendy bar?
It is like, I'm sorry, it's literally impossible that you know as much as you do about this guy. You don't know about his bendy bar. Like I don't know
that much about
what
this
to tell
guy.
you, dude. So he's not in the game, but we're not upset about it because he's a sexual assaulter person.
Right. That's why he's not in the game.
Bendy bar. I'm literally just going to Google Trevor Bauer bendy bar. And there it is. Little fucking picture of him holding his goddamn bendy bar. It's right there.
Bendy bar.
I'm just going to... Yeah.
Anyway,
Bauer
he's off
is not
playing
a
in
fan of
Japan.
him.
So.
Okay, yeah. Oh, there it is. I'll drop you the DuckDuckGo search URL, and then the first image on that is the one. He's got a bendy bar.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. It wobbles up and down, and so you exert muscular force to keep the bar in place.
Okay.
And that's
I believe it.
That's his bendy bar.
That's a bendy bar. It's like a spring with like weights on the end.
Yeah.
I was thinking like a jagged bend, but this is like a curve. This is a bar.
This
that
is
bends.
a straight bar that bends. Yeah, I didn't say a bent bar. I said bendy.
A bendy straw is bent.
I think
it's not bendy.
It's a curly straw. It's a swizzle stick.
It's not a swizzle stick.
What's a swizzle stick?
I think it's
a straw.
Like a drink stirrer.
Oh. That should be the name for
swizzle
a straw.
stick is like a drink, just like a little drink stirrer for cocktails.
Wait, I'm gonna look up swizzle stick real quick to make sure it's the thing I think it is. Come on, Duck, you slow ass piece of shit! Don't make me go back to Google.
If I have to wait 4 seconds, I'm gonna go back to the cops.
This.
I can't be waiting 4 seconds all day.
Okay, this is not the thing that I thought it is. But you know, I don't know if this is more of a coffee house place than like a cocktail thing. But you know those like they're like the long metal spoons that have been bent so that they're rotated. You know what I mean? Like the
No.
it's like why is this hard to explain? Like, it's like imagine they took a spoon with a long straight handle and they clamped both ends and then like twisted it up. So now like the stem of the spoon is like a curly Q because it's like rotated. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. You're talking about a cocktail spoon.
A cocktail spoon. Thank you. Okay, cocktail spoons. This fucking Dunkin' Donuts I go to every day. The one that like never mixes up my drink correctly. They fucking have those. They have cocktail spoons to stir up the drinks as they're pouring them, and it's the one with the coffee taps like it's a bar. And they still can't be fucked to stir up my goddamn mocha coffee.
Yeah. This is what you're talking about? You're talking about this?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. They're even bendier than that though. So they really they apply a true assisting force in stirring. They're not even being asked to do all the labor of stirring is my point.
Yeah. Yeah. These are designed to be able to stir quickly. The thin neck and the like twists in it make it really easy to like swirl around.
You know what I'm talking about with the Dunkin' taps, right?
Maybe? I don't know.
You never been? Oh, you don't?
I don't go to Dunkin'.
Okay, but they also
I make good coffee at my home instead of going to pay for shitty coffee.
Okay, but they also put big windows in the places where they install these because they want you to look through the window and go, "Ooh, I'm going to go in there for that."
They have. Is it nitro or is it just a glorified soda fountain?
What do you mean, nitro?
Using nitrogen to, like, okay, so you've got you get a keg, right? The keg is filled with CO2 or with nitrogen.
Yeah. Okay.
And that is the expelling agent, and it also carbonizes it when it's CO2. With the nitro, it slightly carbonizes it, I guess, but this looks like it's just a soda fountain with taps instead of
they're
buttons.
just big taps. They're big.
There is a nitro one.
Yes,
here.
there is one that says nitro, and it's interesting because I always assumed that just meant, oh, we made really, really strong espresso and then mixed it into this coffee, and it's just the most fucked up caffeinated drink.
No, it means that it's in a pressurized keg, and when you pull it, it will infuse the coffee with nitrogen.
That's pretty cool.
Like a Guinness.
Yeah, all right.
It's pretty much a total gimmick.
Yeah, I tried a Pepsi Nitro. I wasn't impressed.
It does alter the texture. It gives it a smoother texture because it's full of like micro bubbles.
The
Pepsi Nitro is good if what you wanted from Pepsi was for it to be less carbonated and more sweet.
Which I don't think anybody wants because Pepsi's already really, really sweet.
Right. I mean, it's a cola, so it's pretty much the sweetest thing that you can have.
It's people that really, really like Coke love to say that Pepsi's sweeter than Coke as like somehow like
it's not.
They're a sophisticate because they like Coca-Cola instead of Pepsi.
Right. Yeah. I think that I love Coke. I think that I think that there are pretty big differences between Pepsi and Coke taste wise.
I think there's huge differences because I like Pepsi and I don't like Coke.
I think that the quality difference is pretty low. I think there's not a lot of quality difference between them. One of my favorite videos of all time is that YouTube channel Glenn and Friends, I think. This Canadian guy who does home cooking stuff. And he was doing a series on trying to make his own homemade cola, and it was really tough and very involved. It was very, very interesting series. I highly recommend the whole thing. I believe that the series is called Squoze and Cola.
Squoze and Cola?
Yeah, which is I think an oblique Simpsons reference.
There's
to Milhouse's lemonade stand.
At work, they give us all the bottles of water that we want so that we don't die of heat stress like what happened to some other postal employees.
Yeah.
But they also give us free access to these like the flavor ice freezer pops that were like a long tube of liquid. It's those
Otter Pops.
If you say so.
I do.
It's those, but they're like a Gatorade version. So it's like electrolyte hydration in a freeze pop. But the name of the thing, it's Squincher Squeeze. It is, the company is Squincher and the product is Squeeze.
I don't like that at all.
Yeah, it's the worst, a Squincher Squeeze.
The episode of The Simpsons where they get the lemon tree stolen by Shelbyville.
Oh my god!
At some point, they're like out of lemons. They have to go to the lemon tree, and I think that's when they discover it was stolen. But
That's so funny.
Like says that they're out of freshly squozen lemonade.
I don't know what it is about Shelbyville. Like Shelbyville is like low key the funniest conceft in all of Spring in all of Simpsons for some reason.
So just the mirror image of the Simpsons, but of Springfield, but worse. Everything's worse there.
It's just so evocative of like the absolutely meaningless like small town neighbor rivalries. I always think about this time when like the Springfield kids meet up with a group of Shelbyville kids, and Milhouse is like, "Hey, stop wearing your backpack on one shoulder. We invented that."
That's so good. I think that's from that episode.
I think so. Yeah.
Anyway, so this series, one of the things is like, I have to figure out what I actually like about Coke. And this is a guy who's passionate about Coke. So this is a very early entry in blind taste tests of a bunch of sodas.
Keith, you're not forgetting the original, the Pepsi challenge.
Oh, did Pepsi invent this? That's so funny. Because
it was a big marketing campaign that was like, we went around the country and did blind taste tests, and everyone likes Pepsi. That's a brilliant
move because a lot of people are really bad at tasting.
It's true.
Yeah, like I fully believe that the results of a blind taste test of Pepsi and Coke with avowed Coke lovers would return a bunch of people not just getting it wrong, but saying actually they preferred the Pepsi. And I know that because this guy, who is like a chef or a cook, a professional home cook, who is an avowed Coke lover, who doesn't go to restaurants that he likes because they only serve Pepsi products there. And will instead of going, oh, we don't have Coke, is Pepsi okay? He'll go, no. I'll have a Sprite or I'll have 7-Up or whatever.
You're not getting a Sprite if they're selling Pepsi products. You're getting a Sierra Mist, my man.
Not anymore. You're not. You're getting a
Starry,
which I tried and it's not good.
I won't drink it.
It's worse than Sierra Mist for sure.
Of course it is. It's not that I'm getting older. It's that everybody's making everything worse on purpose.
But okay. So this is something that I've grown to appreciate in the last 5 years. That's true. That is true about the world.
Yeah.
That's how you got to disguise the rate of profits falling. You got to take those profits from somewhere else.
Yeah. And why the hell else do you think we can buy so few Big Macs with our hours of minimum wage work these days?
Yeah. I'm trying to buy tons of Big Macs.
I'm over here trying to get a Big Mac. I also saw the price of a Big Mac recently, and I was like, oh, it's not true. It's actually, I think it's one. The national minimum wage will buy one Big Mac. So I guess it's not actually zero.
No, the sandwich maybe in some places, but where I'm at, the Big Mac meal is like $13.
Oh, well, we're just talking about the sandwich. But no,
I think the
meal,
sandwich is like $9.
The sandwich is
$8.50 maybe.
It's like $6. The sandwich is $6, and the national minimum wage is like $7.50.
It's $7.25, but yeah.
Oh my God, that's outrageous. $7.25?
It is outrageous.
When it was $7.50, I was totally fine with it, but now it seems so unreasonable.
Let's see.
And I'm sorry to have to wait. What are you looking up?
I'm looking up at the price of the Big Mac.
Right.
$7.19. So it's 6 cents shy.
Jesus.
6 cents shy of minimum wage.
It is apparently the price is slightly different in different markets, which I didn't know. I think it was like,
of course it is.
I think it was Nina Turner was like tweeting, meant to illustrate that higher minimum wages do not necessarily drive the prices of things up because, like in New Hampshire, they are rather shamefully adhering to the federal minimum wage. But their Big Macs are like slightly more expensive than like our Big Macs in Massachusetts or something, even though the minimum wage in Massachusetts is nearly double that of New Hampshire.
Yeah. It's terrible, obviously. What was I actually talking about?
Big Macs.
No, you brought up Big Macs.
Oh, fuck. Pepsi. You were talking about the Coke guy.
Right. So lines up a bunch of different kinds of Pepsi and Coke. Or, his wife was helping him with the thing and disguised them so that you could see.
His wife did it all. I see how it is.
I'm
He's one of
curious
these guys.
Guys with a wife, you mean?
Can't even pour his own soda.
Well, it's supposed to be blind.
You're going out of town for the weekend? How will I drink? How will I pote?
I think it's to facilitate the blindness of the tasting. All
right. Well, we can't get into it right now, so I'll just have to assume that you're correct about this.
Yeah. And goes through orders. So it's like Coke, Diet Coke, a Pepsi, Diet Pepsi, Pepsi Zero, Coke Zero, Mexican Coke, Mexican Pepsi, and a couple others, and then a couple boutique sodas, I think, are also in there. He ranks every single Pepsi above every single Coke.
Oh my God.
And the look on this man's face when he sees that.
Wow.
His whole world is shook. He's stunned. He's stunned. Then they talk about it for 10 minutes. He's like, we can go to KFC again.
Oh, my dude, you can absolutely go to KFC all fucking day long. It's like
this video is amazing.
Like Neo discovering that he's not in the first version of The Matrix.
Yeah, it's so good. Oh my God.
Oh my God. And you know who told him? It was actually Colonel Sanders surrounded by monitors. And he's like, actually, Pepsi's better.
I believe it's let's see. It might be this one. It might be the DIY Scos and Cola versus 10 store-bought colas. Ultimate taste. Scos and Cola is really funny. DIY Scos and Cola versus 10 store-bought colas. Ultimate taste off.
Yeah, I have to. You said this is a series of videos?
It is a series of videos.
I'll have to watch this whole series.
Yeah, DIY Skull and Cola recipe nailed it. We made 1886 Coca-Cola recipe minus the cocaine.
Oh, well, come on.
He said minus the cocaine.
Are you making the recipe? Or are you making the recipe? That's all I'm asking.
He had a flavor substitute for the cocaine. He found he researched what would taste like
crack.
Yeah. Making Scos and Cola recipe. Yeah, he had like 5 or 6 of these videos on making soda Coke at home, or he calls it. I think he calls it adult tasting cola sometimes. Which is funny. You could just go buy some Moxie because that's your adult tasting cola.
Adult taking.
I guess it's not cola, but it is cola like.
True.
You know what I like? Fentiman's Curiosity Cola. That's a adult tasting cola.
Fentiman just sounds like a narcotic drug that like EMTs are constantly responding to overdoses of.
There's I think they're British. It sounds British, and a British friend of mine likes it.
Which British friend?
My friend Stuart.
Oh, just a
friend,
sounds British.
A local friend who's British.
You know what? Sounds British to me. Stuart, checks out.
If this was an invite to name friend of the show and fellow Friends of the Table cast member Jack DeKeat, Jack is on record as not liking Fentimans.
Oh,
because I brought it up one time and they were like, "I hate Fentimans," but I think maybe they just haven't had it in a long time. Maybe they were too young to appreciate it.
Oh, maybe they haven't had it since they changed the formula, like they changed the formula to Moxie.
I have thought long and hard about this, and I'm pretty close to 100% sure that there's no recipe changes from the first time that I had Moxie until now.
I'm positive that between when I would try sips of my grandfather's Moxie when I was a child to when I tried it again for Run Button, the recipe was changed. It is impossible that they are the same
that the 20
drink.
years in between changed your taste buds.
No, it wasn't 20 years because I had tried it in high school, and then this was, when we recorded this, it was probably like 3 years out of high school. So it's not that long.
So you think in those 3 years, so between like 2008 and 2011.
Between 2006 and 2013, they fucking did something.
I think that this is
fucking did something.
I just think that this is what happens when you're a kid and you taste something that's a little bit bitter that you're not expecting.
In high school, Keith, I was a man. Very manly man.
Sorry to break the news to everyone out there. We're not Jewish. Kyle was not a man. Having been born Christian, we don't become men until 25 or 30. I had a bar
mitzvah and a bat mitzvah just to double seal it. You can't say that I'm not.
Oh, you double sealed it?
Yeah, like double bagging it.
I take back what I said. If they double sealed it, they double sealed it.
Thank you.
Anyway, Curiosity Cola really good. Hard to get in America, obviously, but I also really like their they have a burdock root soda. That's amazing. It's so good. Yes. Bardock root.
Oh shit, no. Draw Bardock as a robin, that's Burdock. He's got like scars on his face.
Who would be his Batman?
He's got a headband on. Who would be what?
Who would be his Batman?
Not that Robin.
Oh, okay.
Aw, Keith. You ruined the whole thing.
Sorry.
Obviously, Bardock is Batman.
That's why I was like, who do you think would be his Robin? Because I was not. How do I buy some of this?
Okay.
Curiosity Cola. Instacart. Oh, do they have the burdock root?
Have you fucking seen Tim Heidecker's McDonald's tweets?
McDonald's tweets? No.
Yeah, well, Tim Heidecker has a Twitter, and this is just me going through his recent images, and it seems that every time he posts a pic of just him usually doing something random and stupid like sipping a soda at a concert or something, he'll put on these like watermarks with his face smiling that says product of Tim Heidecker, official and fully endorsed by Tim, and it's his signature Tim. And now he's on top of this, he started adding McDonald's watermarks and just constantly taking pictures of him at McDonald's, eat a McDonald's, and putting hashtag I'm loving it, hashtag sponsored. And it just like so clearly is not sponsored. So Tim Heidecker's having fun on Twitter is my point.
Yeah. And I think Tim Heidecker's having fun a lot of places.
And I am so sorry to have done this because obviously I misspoke. I'm both sorry to have misspoken, but I'm even more sorry to have to bring up this topic because as we all know, it's actually not Twitter anymore. Right?
Well, it is Twitter.
No.
It just is branded as not Twitter.
It's not Twitter. It's X now.
It's Twitter.
It's X now. You can look at the app on your phone. It's an X. It says X. Because it's not Twitter, it's X now. We all live.
Oh, I take it back. Okay, so here's the thing. It's true and it's false. I didn't think that you could type in x.com and get Twitter. You can.
Oh, I mean, that was we could do that. We could make it so that you type in runbutton.net and get Twitter.
Oh, right, but you'd have to actually have the x.com thing, which I didn't know that he still did.
Oh, no, yeah, I mean, that's the only thing he's ever had. Like, in his
that's
whole
fair.
life,
It really
the
is the only thing that's his.
The only thing he ever
is
created...
the letter X, by the way.
The only thing he ever created was buying x.com for $1 million.
Did you see my tweets about this? They were pretty funny.
I'm not sure. Why don't you tell me what they said, and I'll tell you if I read them.
This is a little bit of my signature sort of sarcastic wit.
Ooh, yeah, I know this about you.
Haven't been using Twitter much recently, but this new X thing has me intrigued. Very cool. Never liked the bird anyway. Didn't get it. Seems like they're really turning things around over here.
Wait,
and then...
Sorry, speaking of turning things around, have you seen my new Twitter icon?
No, I haven't. The follow-up to this is, I think, the better joke. Kind of awesome when you think about how many wrong answers there are to the question, what's the coolest letter, that we live in a time where someone is so publicly nailing it. Go. I love it.
Yeah. So somebody, like, for an article, like, flipped the Twitter bird upside down and put an X on its eyes. Clever. To be like, Twitter's dead. But I looked at it and all I said was, oh my God, this whole time the Twitter bird upside down has been Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
Because it clearly is. So I did what had to be done, and I added the Sonic eyes and Sonic mouth onto the bird.
That's funny. It does really look like Sonic.
Yeah, it does. Have you seen the new sign? Seen the whole sign saga?
Sign?
Like, you know, that there was a sign outside the Twitter building, said Twitter on it, had the logo.
Oh,
so like
no.
on the day of the rebrand, there's like cranes outside the building taking the sign down. But then they got told off by the police because they didn't have any permits to be there doing what they were doing. So instead, the sign just said like Twitter on one side and on the other side. And it's still there and still says that, but they've erected a giant X on top of the building that looks like it was made out of erector set pieces and glows bright white and most crucially flashes bright white at regular intervals directly at an apartment building across the street. So they now live with like, I don't know, something that would be considered like breaking the Geneva Conventions of torture, like across the street from them.
This is the what is it? Fucking Kenny Chesney's Roasters. Kenny Rogers Roaster.
Kenny Rogers
Roasters?
Roasters. What is? I mean, I know I've heard of it, but like, why?
Oh, it's
what are we bringing this up
it's
for?
This episode of Seinfeld where there's a Kenny Rogers Roasters across the apartment from Kramer's apartment, and it's just searing bright red light into his apartment all day.
I am like, I was putting out some big talk about deleting my account and not using Twitter once Elon Musk bought the company. And
a lot of people putting that energy out into the world.
And I didn't do that, but I always meant to. So now I'm like, this x.com thing, this is the one. I really am going to delete my account this time. So you better come get my tweets while they're there because they're gonna be gone soon. Fucking get ready. Because I'm done with this place, and I feel like an asshole for still being here. I saw a big thread that was like, here's how you can use the iOS Shortcuts app to replace the X app icon back with the old Twitter bird and the name Twitter. And I'm like, yeah, why don't we fucking delete our accounts? That seems like a better idea. That's a better use of everyone's time.
Sorry, say it again.
People are mad now that on their phones, instead of a blue bird icon that says Twitter, it's a black X that says X. And people are like, I hate this. I want it. And someone posted a big thread on Twitter of like, here's how you can use a bunch of like advanced user features on an iPhone to make essentially what is a shortcut icon to X. And the shortcut, you put the Twitter bird and the Twitter name on it. And I'm just like, I think it's a better idea that we all delete our accounts. That seems like the best solution to me. I just think it's a better way to
I just don't think there
achieve what
needs
we're
to
trying
be a
to
solution.
achieve.
What's the, like, besides the fact that it's a fucking soap opera and that there's, every week or two there's a new episode of
that's
like
the
what
reason I'm still
total
there.
What's the total own goal this time? How do you, like, what can Elon do next to take a totally functioning website that everyone kind of likes and make everyone hate it and hate him?
Speaking of own goals, if we could expand this visual metaphor, it's like there's one player on the field. It's Elon Musk.
Yes, no one is playing against him.
There is one goal, and it is his own goal. And he is just kicking the ball in over and over again.
So besides this,
convinced
the fact
that he will win eventually.
Right. Besides the fact that, and he's a billionaire, so he probably will. I think it's a 70-30.
Aren't we all coming to learn that he was never as rich as we thought he was? Or, we were both saying that he wasn't already.
Right.
And now
but neither was Trump, and Trump is still getting out of all his shit all the time. So it doesn't take a lot of billions to be able to supplant the law with your own will. Just letting that hang there.
Wait, sorry, I laughed at Twitter. I'm so sorry I got distracted and I laughed at Twitter. I'm a piece of shit. I'm
Close
so
Twitter.
fucking sorry.
It doesn't take a lot of billions to be able to get away with whatever you want.
I
Once you're in the
know.
bill, I don't
think he has. I don't think he has any. I don't believe it.
Well, of course he has any. It's built on lies and fraud and crime, but every billionaire's billions is based on lies and fraud and crime.
I can't believe he wasn't even a founder of Tesla. That's the mind-blowing thing to me.
Yeah, that actually was a shocker to me. I did not know that.
Because
I learned it like 7 years ago, but
even
I didn't.
at the end of the day, there was nothing
Maybe
brilliant.
like 3 or 4.
There wasn't anything brilliant about Tesla. It was just the very smart decision of the only way we're going to get electric cars on the market is if a new company creates their own electric cars and makes them highly desirable.
No, there is something brilliant about Tesla.
Oh, what is it?
Well, okay, so to be real, they introduced, and there's some argument about the that they've been defrauding about the range also, that it's not quite as long as they said. But when they came out with the early Tesla models, the range was triple or quadruple what other electric cars were. So that's the big thing that they did. They made it feel useful, able to be able to drive 100 miles.
I do hear you, but I think this might be, kind of like you pointed out, I think this is mostly narrative because, if you go back to the documentary, Who Killed the Electric Car, it really sounds like the story has always been, regardless of the range, it's always been appealing to people and people have wanted them.
Yes.
And it's always oil companies intentionally making that not happen and then turning around and being it's because of the range,
Well, I'm not saying that no one else could make a car with the range. I'm just saying that there wasn't another car with the range.
What I'm saying is that actually the range on electric cars was never that bad as people always wanted it to sound I'm not
Nissan Leaf and the Volt or whoever Tesla was up against in 2012 or 13, they had 80-mile ranges.
I don't think they existed yet.
Yeah, they did.
In my mind before Tesla, to my memory, it was there was a 20-year gap where electric cars were murdered by the oil industry and then didn't exist on the market until Tesla brought the idea back, essentially, even though we were all kind of looking around being so who's going to build the first electric car? We knew it was coming, but Tesla did it. And I think and that's why I say I think it's narrative to be it's because, why did electric cars not exist as a thing until Tesla? It's because we cracked electric cars. And it's no, it's not. It's just because oil companies killed them for a long time, but then it became too obvious that electric cars were a good idea, and so they couldn't stop it anymore.
I just want to prove my point. I did specifically call it the Chevy Volt and the Nissan Leaf, whose production runs were 2010 to 2019 and 2010 to present. So these are the cars.
Aren't those hybrids though?
No, they're both electric cars.
What?
And they had their early models had ranges of like 60 to 80 miles.
All right.
So I would just want to say.
All right. Well, jeez.
So sorry about you did a very nice speech. I'm sorry that I was right and it turns out that you were wrong.
Listen, no, I still feel like I'm basically correct, but
can we go back to my original point that I was trying to make?
Well, I just want to say that, like, you're apologizing to me like I should feel bad, but I'm just saying, like, I think you're really the one who should feel bad because now that I've been proven wrong, obviously this whole section's going to get cut out of the podcast and no one's going to hear it. So I'm sorry. Sorry about that.
The actual thing that Tesla did that was brilliant was
lying about self-driving.
No. They were selling all of their earned carbon emission credits that they earned by being a company that produces electric cars.
What?
They were selling them to companies that didn't have that. So they were actually not helping anyone at all ever.
Oh my God.
Because the US lets you earn credits that then you can spend later if you don't meet the criteria, or you can sell those credits to other companies. So by existing, Tesla was generating the ability for other companies to buy and then not meet emission standards.
What the fuck?
So
and all these emission standards
That is the brilliant thing. It was all a scam. The whole thing was a scam the whole time.
And all these credits on emissions don't take into account the emissions generated by electrical consumption, I imagine.
Right, or the emissions generated by building cars. Or the mining that you have to do to get the materials for the batteries. Yeah, it's all fake.
Keith.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, listen. Listen, Keith, listen. I know you told me to close Twitter.
Close Twitter.
I know you told me, but look at the cat.
Oh,
look
that's
at
cute.
this
it's a cat with a cat on its nose.
It's one of those
cat whose nose is a cat.
It's one of those black cats with the white highlights that then has a little splotch of black on its nose, but the splotch looks just like a cat. The cat has a cat on its face.
Can I go back and make my point about Twitter now, finally?
Oh, you mean X?
Right. You're all over the place today, by the way. I haven't been able to finish one point all day.
No. Oh, I thought you meant all over the place in terms of calling it Twitter or calling it X, and I was going to be like, no, I definitely
I'm just
only
saying that you
call
keep
it
changing
X.
the topic in the middle of me trying to make a point.
Look, trending in technology, Twitter is X.
The thing about Twitter, like, maybe I'm unique in this. You know, I've been using Twitter a lot less just because I've been using co-host more. But that's reason. That's like within the past month that's been true. Up until then, my Twitter usage, like maybe it's a little bit, but I basically was using Twitter like normal. I never made any promises that I was going to quit. I never said anything. Because my day-to-day experience on Twitter has almost not changed at all. So it just really feels like, even though the vibe has steadily gotten worse, even though there's features that I haven't really, that I've really disliked, even though the people who are in charge are sort of self-righteous, like lunatic right-wingers, actually using Twitter hasn't changed, and probably didn't start changing until they started like removing key features of the site and making them exclusive to like Twitter Blue, like which is a name, by the way, that no longer makes sense because they made the whole thing black.
It's the new name of the service is going to be called XXX.
Great, yeah, that's good. That's going to have the world's greatest SEO. But like the real thing that happened for me was like 3 weeks ago, they replaced TweetDeck with like a much worse version of TweetDeck. that doesn't do the thing that I need TweetDeck to do, which is like give me access to multiple accounts on the same timeline.
Wait, which thing doesn't do that?
TweetDeck.
No, TweetDeck does do that, but a thing you're using doesn't?
No, TweetDeck doesn't do that.
TweetDeck still exists?
TweetDeck has always existed. It's about to become exclusive to Twitter Blue, but there's no way in the world that I would pay for that.
I stopped using even for a week as a joke.
Sorry, say it again.
I said even I stopped using TweetDeck. I was on TweetDeck for a long time.
Why did you stop using TweetDeck?
I don't remember. I thought it stopped existing. I assumed that was the reason I stopped using it.
No. Well, a month ago, you know
what? I think they kept ripping functionality out of it on purpose to get you to stop using it. I think it was like you can't even see who liked your tweets anymore or something.
No, you can totally see that.
What?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely not as good as it was like a decade ago, but it's been the same level of bad for like 8 years. Until last month, where they removed the feature that I needed, which was to have one account's timeline and another account's timeline, and then have their likes, their notifications in separate timelines. And if I go to the run button timeline and like a tweet, it likes it as run button.
Yeah.
You can't do that anymore.
Oh
you
my
have
God.
to switch accounts like how YouTube has switching accounts. So you have to go like click your name, switch to run button, loads in, you have a new set of timelines. I mean, that's what TweetDeck was good for, was to not have to do that. So
almost every single time I post like a new video on the run button Twitter account, I forget to switch out of it, and then I like a bunch of random funny tweets as run button and then have to go back and unlike them all.
That's funny.
And retweet
Well, you
stuff.
could have been using TweetDeck this whole time. Now you can't.
It'd be like, I'll tweet like new run button video, and then like 2 seconds later, run button like retweets a funny cat picture.
You could have been using TweetDeck. It would have solved that problem for you until like July 3rd or something.
I think you were talking about your Twitter habits, and you're all like, I'm not going to leave Twitter because my experience hasn't changed, and I'm happy over here on Twitter. But I've talked before about how Keith has a charmed Twitter life that no one else shares, and of course he loves it so much because he's a special little boy in a special little universe. But I started using Twitter a lot less because I was recognizing that it was making me a lot less happy than I could be otherwise and negatively impacting my life in general. So I was already like, oh, this isn't good for me to be using, even though it's fun sometimes. And then, Elon Musk bought it and made it a huge shit show. And now it's like, oh, well, I definitely want to get out of here now because I don't even like this place anymore. Yeah. But it's been hard. It's been hard to leave just because it's such a shit show. It's like, I got to stay around and see what happens next.
This is sort of my argument. It's not really that Twitter's always been good. It's really just that the day-to-day experience until very recently with locking TweetDeck behind Twitter Blue and the site going down like for a day, all this other stuff. The day-to-day experience, minute-to-minute experience is only like 3 or 4% worse. It was always bad. It's still bad. It is worse, but it's just sort of like, there's a level of outrage about, I don't know. I just think it just feels like people are hyperbolizing about how much worse their experience is.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like it's fine to hate Elon Musk and hate Twitter and not want to be on Twitter because of him. I just don't know if that exactly translates to like, and Twitter sucks now, way, way, way worse, and it's totally different.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, the one thing that definitely changed was like we all started getting DM spam instantly.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. The DM, but I didn't even notice that was happening until like I had like 80 of them because they just sit in the like you don't follow this person sort of like limbo that Twitter sends.
Now I'm seeing a lot of people like artists who are using their talent, time, and energy to like make X logos that incorporate a blue bird, and I'm just like, what are you doing? Like what? Like we can't seriously have a genuine commitment to this platform with Elon Musk in charge of it, right? Like
this is sort of people hated Twitter for years before Elon Musk was in charge.
I guess my point is like Twitter was certainly never an unalloyed good. Like it always had a lot of problems, and then it was taken over by like a complete psychopath. So it's like, you know, I don't feel like you should allow yourself to have any commitment to Twitter. You shouldn't be like, oh no, I don't want to leave Twitter because XYZ. It's like, no. You need to start preparing yourself for the fact that you shouldn't be here anymore.
But there are people whose whole jobs are wrapped up in being on Twitter. So I get
that was always a problem, and we always should not have done that.
Right, but it still makes it bad, like when all of a sudden everyone hates it and wants to be off of it. Where it's like, oh, well, it sucks that I'm wrapped up in all this financially, but...
Oh, well, I mean, like, if you personally have a financial stake in being on Twitter, that's a different proposition.
What do you think we do?
Oh, I hate Twitter professionally.
I don't think that it's direct. I think it's sort of indirect, but I think that when we're like doing a stream or whatever,
I mean,
or tweeting out about videos, I think a lot of that comes from people seeing it on Twitter and going to where we're posting stuff.
I do see your point, but I also feel
and if we were more successful, that number would be much bigger.
Yeah, I feel like in light of all the things I just said, but especially in light of our absolutely stagnant success rate over the last decade, I am committed to not giving a shit about that.
Yeah. But there's artists who, make, 300, 500, 1,500, whatever amount of money
1,600,
off of
1,700, 2,500.
I'm just saying
3,500.
It's like important supplemental income.
600, 6,600.
Yeah. 600 and 6,600.
Uh-oh.
That's almost 7,000.
Yeah. Oh my God. Don't say that too loud.
It's over 7,000.
Don't start talking about 666 too loud, or the rage beast might come up from the suburbs of hell.
That would do well on Twitter.
Twitter loves that.
Twitter loves the rage beast. Come on.
It is. It's so funny. And not that anyone's surprised, but it is just so funny to see how many people are fully on board with the X thing just because they're Elon simps, and they're really just like so convinced it's a good idea, and they're like laughing at the people who think it's bad, and they're just like
hilarious to watch the people who have to like pretend that everything he's done is good.
Like
it's like so obviously bad.
It's not that I can't imagine someone thinking that the X.com switch might be a good idea if you think about it. Like, hey, if this thing turns out to be true, it could be something. I
cannot imagine that.
I'm just being, I'm being generous when I'm saying this. But
you are so generous.
But to be so confident in it that you're being smug about, like, I can't believe people think this is a bad idea. It's like you've never even met reality. You've never even been here.
This is just like the people whose entire identity is like owning the libs, and so like everything has to be like defense or offense in your whole life.
Yeah, smugness is their whole thing.
Everything is either liberal or conservative.
Oh, true.
And so you've constantly got to be playing defense and offense of like, no, my guy did good. He won. Liberals do this too, and it's just as insane to watch them defend stuff that sucks. It's actually more insane because they should
know better.
It feels like they should know better, but the things that they genuinely believe are so fucking stupid. Like it only feels like they're less stupid than the conservatives because they are a little bit less cruel. And so I think it's easy to see that they're less cruel and be like, that must mean they're smarter. But I don't know. I think the stuff they believe is really dumb.
Yeah.
But they get into things of defense, and the stuff that they like, it's closer to the stuff I like. So I think that's why seeing them defend something that's obviously stupid is like, oh my God, these people are morons. But yeah, like watching them go back and forth on like having to attack people over nothing and defend themselves over the dumbest shit in the world. It is bizarre. Watching people defend Elon Musk as though, like, because him being right has become an important part of their political identity for some reason.
Yeah.
Like, it is one of the funniest things to have ever happened on Twitter.
Yeah, it is. I had a thing. I was going to say it, but it left.
Do you want to talk about video games?
No!
Why not?
Oh, it just seems like such an abrupt left turn from where we are right now.
I'm all about abrupt left turns.
You sure you don't want to talk more about this cat that has a cat on its snout?
Yeah, I don't have a ton to say about it.
Look at that little baby.
It's very cute. It is a very cute cat.
I want to know, will it keep its shape as this cat grows? You know?
I fucking cannot stand the fucking like cheap clickbait about AI. It is driving me crazy. I'm
the AI
sick about
stuff,
hearing about
yeah.
AI. I'm sick of it.
Yeah, I'm so sick of it, I don't even want to talk about it.
All right, let's talk about video games.
No, you got me.
Yeah.
Oh, he tricked me. No, well, hang on. I have to go to the bathroom, though, so we're taking a break.
All right, fine.
Put down the chainsaw and listen to me. It's time for us to join in the fight. It's time to let your babies grow up to be cowboys. It's time to let the bed bugs fight. You better put all your eggs in one basket. You better count your chickens before they hatch. You better sell some wine before it's time. You better find yourself an itch to scratch. You better squeeze all the charmin you can when Mr. Whipple's not around. Stick your head in the microwave and get yourself a tan. Talk with your mouth full. Bite the hand that feeds you. Bite on more than you can chew. What can you do? Dare to be stupid. Take some wooden nickels. Look for Mr. Goodbar. Get your mojo working now. I'll show you how. You can dare to be stupid. You can turn the other cheek. You can just give up the ship. You can eat a bunch of sushi, then forget to leave a tip. Dare to be stupid. Come on and dare to be stupid. It's so easy to do. Dare to be stupid. We're all waiting for you. Let's go.
Okay, I'm back.
Oh, hey, welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back.
Wow, we all love that show just as we love John Travolta to this day.
Yep, hey, you know what? I'm willing to go out on a limb and say that show is as good as John Travolta.
Yeah?
And everyone can take their own guesses as to how to interpret that statement.
Guess what I've got here?
Well, hey, ooh.
Yes. Ooh.
Oh, is that going to be... Is there a chance it's a NOS energy drink?
Oh, you've got the color right. But I'm actually going to have to ask you to drink differently.
Drink differently?
Distinctively different.
No. You don't have Moxie.
I do.
Wow. You brought the real energy drink, the original.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't just...
Yep, Moxie man pointing at you. DrinkMoxie.com.
Doesn't just put pep in your step, puts hair on your chest.
Yeah. There's only a couple places around here that sell Moxie, but
wow.
I go there
How
and
is
I
it?
get some
Tell me
sometimes.
what notes are you tasting?
I can taste the gentian root.
Oh, sure. That's what people will notice first, probably.
And I can taste their commitment to making sure that they have enough sugar to properly sweeten their drinks instead of
everyone tastes that.
The bastard Coca-Cola who skimped on the sugar so that they could spend more money on marketing, thus supplanting Moxie as the best-selling soda in America.
Oh, shit.
That's true. That's all true.
What is...
Sorry, you're stunned. I can tell that you're
No,
stunned.
what actually happened was...
You're looking at Twitter?
I looked at Twitter again and went,
No, close Twitter!
No, I closed it. It's down now. I minimized it. It wasn't anything new. I just saw a millionth person complaining about the X icon, and I just had... just a moment of madness where I'm like, it's not about the fucking X icon. It's not an ugly X. Stop pretending it looks bad. It's just a stupid idea. That's the problem.
Well, it is also an ugly X.
It is, but it doesn't. It's not ugly enough to be part of the problem.
I know how to solve your problem. You've fallen for a basic trick. You're on the For You tab.
Was I on the For You tab?
Switch over to the Following tab. The For You tab is designed to irritate you.
You're probably right. That's probably exactly what's happening.
Everyone who's being irritated by Twitter is accidentally browsing the For You page instead of the Following page.
I'm on the For You page, but you know what? This person is someone I follow, so it doesn't even mean anything.
But how long ago was the tweet from?
Oh, good question.
Are they showing you an 8-hour-old tweet?
They're showing me a 2-day-old tweet.
There you go, for you. There you go.
Oh my God!
It's For You parentheses to get upset at. That's what the For You page is on Twitter. It's for you to be mad.
Yeah,
at
you're
us.
right. You know what? I went over to the Following and I just hear someone tweeting about a nice looking Earthbound T-shirt. Here's someone excited about a sequel to Klonoa. Here's someone. Here's Wario64 posting about how you can buy a Yogi Bear Blu-ray collection if you're like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's because I know that I can go to the Following page on Twitter and see stuff that I like because I only follow people I like and who post things I want to see. And, every once in a while, someone I follow will post something annoying or controversial, and that gets zipped right over to the For You page. I don't know why, but they can do it every time.
Yeah, I made the mistake of following a bunch of people that I shouldn't have followed, and now I just have people I follow that I'm just like, why do I follow you?
When did you and why did you do that?
Who could say?
How many people do you follow?
Too many.
What are you even called on Twitter right
2011. My chosen handle is my GF Grimes is mad at me.
Gotcha.
That's not my @ name.
Oh, you only follow 100 and something, 100 and change more people than me. But hey, that's an important threshold. I follow 450 people. You follow 605.
But sorry, I was looking at my followers. I follow 600 people, not 2,000. That's 2,000 is how many followers I have.
Yeah. Although it's funny how 600 can feel like 6,000.
Yeah. I was about to say, well, the only thing that's important is that I follow less than half the number of people that follow me. And I was like, wait, no, it's the opposite. Oh, I was looking at the wrong numbers.
Yeah. I mean, way less than half.
Yeah.
Hey, but I'm over on co-host. I'm posting on co-host. You can go there. Same name, Keith J. Carberry.
Yeah.
I'm having a good time.
You know, the thing about co-host is, and I don't think there's anything about co-host, but I think it's big, because I haven't really posted on there, it somehow feels like it's like, oh, what am I just going to start a whole new thing over here?
Yeah, I mean, I'll say it took me a year of sort of lurking and occasionally posting before I was posting almost every day.
Yeah. Okay. And I'll say this: put Mastodon straight out of your heads. I can't believe people still bring this up as a viable alternative to Twitter.
I like Mastodon.
It's a terrible idea.
Why?
I mean, because essentially, because this is what happens, is it gets pitched wrong to people. They're like, Mastodon is decentralized Twitter. It's like Twitter, but there's no Elon Musk to fuck everything up. But that's not true.
That's not true. There's just like 1,000 people that could or couldn't be an Elon Musk. And they are free to fuck up or not fuck up their own little thing.
Mastodon, as I understand, is a protocol for interacting with the Fediverse, which is like, it's like a million Twitters all together. It's like Discord, like in the same way.
It's like Discord. If every Discord channel was its own server instead of existing on Discord servers.
Right. But and in that way, it's like, Discord servers are not free from the tyranny of owners. They're actually much more subject to the tyranny of owners. We can ban anyone we want from Run Button Discord for any reason. Right? And it's the same on Mastodon. Like, whoever owns the Fediverse slice that you're a part of, they can ban you if they want, just like Elon Musk can ban you if they want. It doesn't solve anything. It just creates... It moves away from, like, one tyrannical emperor to a million petty tyrants. It's a terrible idea.
No. This is where you're wrong. Okay, yes, they could be petty tyrants, but, then just go. It doesn't have to be important to you.
I
go
know.
to where you want to be.
Well, my point is that Mastodon doesn't... The only way in which Mastodon can serve as a true Twitter replacement is when you stay in the default zone of, like, social whatever, like the Mastodon social server. But so everyone's like, oh, well, that's the new Twitter, is like you go to Mastodon and you stay in the default social zone. But it's like, well, but someone controls that. You don't know who they are yet, but they have a name, they're a real person, and they have ideas, and you're going to be just as subject to their ideas as you're subject to the ideas of Elon Musk on Twitter.
Sure, yeah. But it's easy to go, just chances are they're better than Elon Musk.
Oh, yeah, chances are. Yeah.
which is like compelling. It's compelling just to say chances are.
Oh, no, but I do appreciate it in terms of like a low stakes move. Like, how could it be worse? But I just want to be clear, it's not a good solution. It's just a Band-Aid.
I think it's a good solution. I don't necessarily like Mastodon. I do think it's a good solution if it panned out, like, that people used it. That's the part that I think won't pan out. Yeah. It's not that I think Mastodon, the structure of it is bad. I think that it's just never going to take off.
Yeah.
Because I just don't think that that's a problem. The problem with Twitter is that it was this big thing. Like, the problem with Twitter...
though that is simultaneously its biggest flaw and its greatest strength, was that it was one big, massive platform.
Right.
So
everyone that I knew was on there.
Yeah, it's like two sides of an equal sign. Anything you change in it being a massive central service negatively affects its positive quality, which was that it was a massive central service.
Right. And so the thing about Mastodon that I like is the idea that, like, okay, there's all of these different verticalities, and there's a possibility where you can have the thing where, oh, everyone that I know is on this same thing. And there's even the added promise or added, not promise, but possibility that not only is everyone that I care about is on here, almost no one that I don't is. So I can get it so that it's got the positive of Twitter, which is that everyone that I want to follow is on here. Minus all of the chaff that I don't give a shit about.
It's almost like with Mastodon, you'll be able, like anyone you don't want to hear from, you'll be pretty able to make sure that doesn't happen, but it won't mean that there aren't hate groups using Mastodon. You just won't hear from them, just like on Discord. Yeah. That's my thing is, I've never heard anyone say...
You've just got to have a good understanding of what the internet is.
Yeah, I've never heard anyone explain Mastodon by being like, it's like open source Discord, which is basically what it is. And I feel like it would sound way less appealing to people if you said that, because people have already internalized the problems with Discord.
Right. It's funny, because I actually was just going to compare it to Discord right before you did.
We haven't even mentioned Blue Sky.
Right, it doesn't deserve mentioning.
And what is it again? Oh, Blue Sky
Blue
is
Sky is if Jack made a worse Twitter that
Wait.
almost no one was using.
I with the social thing, the dot social? I was mixing up Mastodon and Blue Sky, right? It's Blue Sky dot social is the one where it like Blue Sky is going to be federized like the Mastodon Fediverse,
I don't
but
know
the
that that's
default
true.
one that you go into is the dot social.
I think that's not really true.
And it's even funny because if that is true, dot social, it would mean that it's owned by Jack Dorsey, the guy who owned Twitter. It would literally just be going back to old Twitter.
Right. There's a lot of people who have a lot of nostalgia for old Twitter, and I get that.
Oh, yeah, sure. I don't. I mean, I'm not like.
Going back to old Twitter, I think for a lot of people means going back to like, hey, do you remember Twitter, but like before Trump mattered?
Yeah,
and I think that's appealing to a lot of people.
I think when I said old Twitter, I meant Twitter the moment before Elon Musk bought it. That to me is old Twitter. That's what I meant when I said that. I know what you're saying about like the older culture of Twitter.
Right. That's what people want out of Blue Sky.
Yeah.
People want out of Blue Sky to go back to like 2014.
Yeah, I mean,
Trump didn't matter. It didn't feel. But the problem with that is that people are different.
Yeah, it's the people that
who
changed.
are different.
Yeah. So and again, like it's like we mentioned, like you will be empowered to not hear from Trump people, but it's only because you're actively blocking them all out. It's not like you're gonna erase Trump people from existence. You're just doing the arguably dangerous thing of ignoring them.
Isn't it crazy? Like if you think about like in if you
yes, it is crazy. Whatever you're about to ask me, yes, it is totally crazy.
Okay. So a lot of things, a lot of moving pieces, like you know, the world is a lot of moving pieces, and people affect them and are affected by them. But let's just scale back the complexity.
A great
for a
philosopher once said, "The world is a lot of moving pieces."
Let's scale. Let's just peel back the complexity a little bit, and is there a dumber guy who has changed more in the world? Like, and not just like events. Like, obviously, morons have been kings like forever.
Yeah.
Right. Like, there's no way to stop that from happening with how kings work, really.
Right.
But like Trump has inspired so many people.
Yeah.
People are there are people who live out their lives in totally different ways than they did 10 years ago.
Seriously.
Because of Donald Trump. It's so funny.
I mean,
it's
it is
wild.
It's absolutely true when people say Trump is a symptom, not a cause, but he absolutely is one of those symptoms that's such a problem that it causes new problems.
Yeah. I mean, yes, he's definitely a symptom of a lot of things, but it's just like, but it takes a very specific kind of person to be able to move people like that, you know, like to like, you know, just using the Twitter example, this is what I was thinking of when I said that, is like, you can't go back to 2014 Twitter because people's brains aren't the same online.
Yeah.
Like, people are thinking differently.
He
gave people a whole new way to think.
Yeah.
That's
and the internet is also for different stuff now. Like, there was kind of a time that petered out right around 2012 or 2013 where it was kind of just like, oh, the whole world's not on the internet. The internet is for certain kinds of things and not for other kinds of things. And like one of those things it wasn't for was like real, actual political discourse. And now everyone agrees that it is, and you just can't go back on that.
Yeah. But the thing that's like been born out of the last 10 years is like this mode of sort of politicizing everything.
Yeah.
And it's just like that is something that like, I don't know if it can go back in the bottle, but we're not getting it back in the bottle by switching websites. Like, I'll tell you that. Like it's just really, that is something that happens in your head. It doesn't happen on Twitter. You know, like it doesn't have, like I don't know how to get back to a world where like, you know, we're saying like people are going like go woke, go broke to Wilson's tennis balls. Like I don't know.
These are fucking woke tennis balls.
These woke tennis balls won't stand.
It is actually shocking to me that only just now, in like the last month, I have started to see people say like, hey, did you guys notice that it was all these like conservative right-wing weirdos that were yelling about snowflakes and being triggered, but it really seems like they're the snowflakes who were triggered. It's like, yeah, no fucking shit. This has been like the last 10 years.
I feel like I've been seeing people saying that for a decade.
Like that was always the craziest thing about the triggered snowflake thing from day one, and it took a decade for people to realize it was bullshit.
Well, okay. I think that there's two things. You're totally right that people are saying that as if thinking it for the first time. The thing that makes that crazy isn't how self-evident it was, which is it was, but it's that I've been seeing people saying that for a decade. Like people have been making that claim.
You're right.
So it's sort of like not only how are you just realizing it now, how did you not notice people saying it for 10 years?
Yeah, that's also what I mean. It's like, it's not just that like when I say it takes 10 years for everyone to realize, I kind of mean like the public super consciousness that we are all somehow a part of, right? It's like you have a decade of people saying something and them not being listened to, and then all of a sudden it's like more and more people start to be like, oh, I actually think maybe these guys are triggered. And while Steven Crowder's being like, these fucking tennis balls, are you kidding me?
If these tennis balls don't start being racist again, I'm going to cut off my pinky.
Wilson wants to cut off your balls and put them in a can.
I just need to, full disclosure, the Wilson's example was an absurd thing that I just thought of. I don't know if they did anything or didn't do anything.
Sorry, it's like, as I said that, like, Cheryl came up behind me to, like, grab something off my desk, and then I started choking on water, because, you know, when you don't realize someone's standing behind you while you're railing up against Wilson chopping your balls off.
Oh, I know the feeling.
Yeah, we all know that feeling.
We all know that feeling.
Speaking of Cheryl, here's something funny about Dragon Ball related. We watched, Cheryl and I watched almost all of Dragon Ball and almost all of Dragon Ball Z, and we still have to watch the ending bits of both of those. So we haven't gotten to the Majin Buu saga yet, and I didn't tell her that much about it because I didn't want to, like, spoil it, but, I kind of, like, forgot how much she didn't know about it. I just kind of assumed, like, everyone knows about Majin Buu, right? You know about Dragon Ball, you know about Buu, or whatever. And I think
he's one of the three main guys.
At some point we were playing Dragon Ball Breakers, and like she was kind of watching from the back, and one of the villains was Boo, and I think it showed like multiple forms, and she's like, "Wait, it's more than one guy?" And I was like, "Don't worry about it." And I didn't think about it that much, and I don't remember how it came up, but I like mentioned Majin Buu something, and all of a sudden, like, this was like a couple nights ago, Cheryl's like, "Wait, it's one guy?" I was like, "Oh yeah, it's all Majin Buu," and she's like, "Well, no, like I thought it was Maj and Buu."
Maj and Buu?
No, just the one.
It's the tag team, Maj and Buu. Maj is the big guy, and Buu is the little guy.
Yeah, that's good. Hey, Majin Buu's not bad. Oh my God, is this a podcast for video games?
Yeah, let's talk about Yakuza 5.
Oh, okay. Tell me about Yakuza 5.
So, since the last time that we were talking, I started playing Yakuza 5.
Oh my God.
And it's interesting because I'm like in the games that people variously consider the best Yakuza games. Like, I think it's 4, 5, and 0, which are all in a row.
Yeah.
And I think that one of those is pretty much everyone's favorite game. And it's kind of interesting the things that they have in common and things they have differently, because 0 was the first one I played.
Yeah.
And it's a great first one to play. Highly recommend everyone play Yakuza 0.
Actually, it was the second one you played, because we played Yakuza 1.
Okay, but we didn't play that much of it.
Hey, I'm just trying to... I'm saying that to say that you actually had more context for how good 0 was than someone who just coming to it sight unseen. Like, you had actually seen how bad a Yakuza game could be.
Right. So we bounced off of Yakuza 1. But I played 0 a couple years later, and I loved it. Oh my god, I loved it. It's so good. And then have been slowly working my way through the series. I played Kiwami 2. 3 is actually the worst one. And then 4, and then now 5. So the thing that they all have in common is that 4 is the first one where you're switching characters.
Right.
And there's like 5 chapters.
And they like all do that now, right?
4, 5, and 0 all do.
Yeah, and I think 6 does as well.
That's kind of a shame, because so far 0 is the only one that did it well.
Oof.
I really like a lot of the plot of these games, for sure. And the mechanics of it are like, also, it's if you've played a Yakuza, it's that still, like for better or for worse, and give or take a few degrees. But
it's an open world beat 'em up.
It's an open world beat 'em up. It's a very small open world beat 'em up.
A small but extremely dense open world, like a Japanese city district would be.
Yeah. But the thing that I'm running into is like, Yakuza 0 has 2 characters, and so you play a huge chunk of the game as Kiryu, and then you play a huge chunk of the game as Majima, and then you do a bit of switching back and forth, and you get to a point where you could be either one for a little while.
Yeah.
And it feels like really seamless to be switching back and forth between these 2 characters. Mm-hmm. But once you're in 4 and 5, you have so many characters that you're playing as. You're like playing 20 hours as Kiryu, and then you're playing 20 hours as another character, and then like 20 hours as another character, and then they all meet up for the last 5 hours of the game. And like being cut off, the story being told in this way where it keeps like cutting you off from one of the characters.
Right.
Is like so annoying to me. I don't know why. It's just really starting to irritate me. Like I really
I mean, it makes sense. You're getting into one character's story, and then it's like, boom, different story now.
Yeah. So I guess it's heartening that actually 0 comes after 5.
Right.
And it's the one where I think they did do a good job doing this. I never felt that friction playing 0 at all. And I played 0 twice.
And then 6 comes after 0, and I think it has multiple protagonists, so who knows? Maybe, now you'll get to see what they've learned after 0.
Yeah, I'm excited to do that. But so there's this character who is phenomenal named Akiyama who gets introduced in 4. You haven't played 4 or 5.
Nah.
Right? You played the first. You played 0 and 1.
I've only played 1, 0, and Kiwami.
Yeah. Kiwami 1, I think, is great. I think they really did a good job making that game good.
I think it was... I definitely want to go back to and play it more. I think for me it was just... It was good, but just too much not as good as 0. Which I think is what everyone says. Like, 0 is just so good that in a lot of ways, like, anything else is a letdown. Yeah,
I just really like the plots, the like high level plots of Yakuza games.
Yeah, it is.
And
it
1
is good.
has like a really great plot. Like the high level, what is going on here is so fantastic. And I think probably once you get broad enough with like what's happening, probably better than 0.
I think
it's the only thing it has over 0.
I would say I like the first half of the game's story. I think is like really, really strong, and for me, it really starts to like sputter and stall out in the second half when it's like it's about some guy and his daughter, and it's that guy. What does he run an underground fighting ring, a literal underground fighting ring, and then like Nishiki doesn't show up till the end, and then he's just dead.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
So that is the other thing.
Spoilers.
You have to hand it to Yakuza 0 for this. Yakuza 0 gives you feelings about Nishiki that do not exist in Yakuza 1 on its own.
I mean, Yakuza 0 is what it is on its face. It's them redoing the first game in the series. Like, now that we're good at this, let's go back and make a better first Yakuza game, and they did.
And it is really like kind of one of the very few times in fiction that I actively would tell you, do not go in chronological release order.
Yeah.
Like, they made Yakuza 0 to be where they want you to start now, and they're right. Like, I don't even think that it's a given that someone would be right about that. I think, but they do a good job. You should start with 0.
Yeah.
You should go from 0 to Kiwami. The 4 and 5 have been like really, really good in a lot of ways. The characters they introduce, I really like them. I love Akiyama. I think he's fantastic. His basic story, his basic thing is, I mean, play Yakuza 4 and you start with Akiyama, and like for the first 10, 15 minutes is some of the best 15 minutes of like Yakuza cutscenes that exist. It's fantastic. He has like a real sense for the Yakuza thing, he like really relates to them from the outside. And like having a character that really understands the mindset of someone like Kiryu, but isn't involved directly, is like really fascinating. But this is amazing. He's a former homeless man who gets his break when the $1 billion explodes from the Millennium Tower in the first game.
Yeah, you told us about this on the last podcast.
Oh, I did?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
And just quickly, a note for myself. While Keith was speaking, I think my recording hitched for like 5 to 10 seconds. So that might be needing to be addressed now.
I'll put another flag. I put a flag on our last break, and that should show up when I send you these files. So you should be able to see these flags in your editing software. And anyway, so like I'm playing the game. I'm playing 5. Chapter 1 is Kiryu. We've got to explain what Kiryu's doing, even though at the end of the last game it seemed like maybe he was going to be like back doing Yakuza stuff. No, he's driving a taxi.
Yeah, I mean, it was like it's like every game end with like, and now maybe Kiryu will be the head of the Tojo clan, and then he's not.
Right. Well, he is at the end. He is, but then he abdicates immediately.
Right.
He's technically been the 4th chairman since the end of the first game.
I guess he's always the 4th chairman, even though he abdicated, right?
Right. Yeah. Everyone in the Tojo calls him the 4th chairman.
Awesome.
And unless they don't recognize him, which is true of everyone who meets you on the side of the road and wants to kick your ass 100 times an hour.
Oh my gosh! I can't even believe this. The dishonor of these Yakuza.
Kiryu doesn't
fools.
seem to mind. I mean, I guess he seems kind of annoyed by it. But...
What do you mean? He beats the shit out of him.
Well, yeah, he's going to defend himself, but he doesn't seem to hold it against them.
Okay.
This is the power of Kiryu. He doesn't have to guard himself emotionally. He doesn't have to defend from tricks because at the end of the day, every problem can be made a physical problem that he will overcome.
Yeah, like
that is the genius of his character, is that he never has to guard himself or be careful or be like street smart, because at the end of the day, if someone's trying to trick
the dragon of Dojima.
Yeah, if someone's trying to trick him, he can just grind their face into the pavement until they apologize and give him 5,000 yen or like a roll of toilet paper or something.
he'll just punch his way through the problem.
Right. Yeah. And it's so good, and somehow this ends up being like a really emotional way to write a story or character. Chapter 2, Saijima's back. Majima's sworn brother.
I don't even know this guy.
You don't know Saijima? They talk about him all the time in Yakuza 0.
Oh, okay. Then I guess I do know that guy.
He's the guy that went to prison for assassinating a bunch of people.
Yeah, I know the guy, Keith. Didn't you hear me just say?
Yeah, sure. He's back in prison. So last game we see him in prison and we have to play through this prison thing, and it's the worst part of the game. I love Saiju. I think he's phenomenal, but playing through the prison stuff was the worst part of the game. Yeah. And so they decide, well, you know and love him from that prison stuff from the last game. Let's get him back into prison. And it's so funny because they even have to make up why he's going to prison. Basically, he's like, I've got to go do 2 years for this assault charge so that it won't cause any problems for the Tojo when they make me captain. So they have to invent this stupid reason for him to have to go back to jail. And then you spend a ton of the game like actually lost in the mountains. So you're like first-person shooter hunting deer. And it's bizarre. It's okay.
That sounds good.
It is good. It's not that good, but it is good.
Okay.
And then Haruka shows up. Haruka's trying to be a pop star.
What?
And you spend an entire act of the game doing rhythm games and dance battles.
Oh, good. That's actually perfect.
It basically rules. It's kind of amazing. It's kind of especially like in the context of like this game that's been nothing but like literally, beating people to within an inch of their life for 4 games, and like now you're playing a 15-year-old girl trying to be an idol.
Is this like where the karaoke comes from in Zero? Like, was there no rhythm game stuff until this happened?
No, 3 and maybe 2 have karaoke games.
Oh, okay.
So you can do that, but it does come from the fact probably that most of the time that you spend with Haruka in those first games is like dragging her by the hand around the city and going and playing karaoke with her. And so she's like, I guess I want to be a singer.
That's funny. You're like, my fondest memories are from me and my not dad singing on stage.
Yeah, totally. So, the twist is in the middle of this act, part 3, Akiyama shows up.
Well, okay, I mean, you don't have to. I want to play this game eventually. You don't have to tell me everything.
I haven't told you anything about the plot.
Okay,
I've just told you what order you play the characters in.
I'm simply informing you that I would like to have some surprises preserved for my future.
All right. So this becomes all of a sudden a game where you're like switching back and forth between almost at will between Haruka and Akiyama. And I'm like, this is it. This is why people keep saying this is the best game in the series. Let's make this the whole rest of the game this.
Right.
And they don't do that.
Yeah.
I'm now in another part where you get something like that again. But I'm 70 hours into the game. How much more game could there be? I've got to be pushing up against the end of this thing. This is about how many hours? 70 to 100 hours. That's
famous last words if you were playing Fire Emblem Three Houses, I can tell you now.
Yeah, maybe. But
you're like 70 hours in, it's got to be over soon.
It would not be odd if this game was over soon. Like 70 to 100 hours seems to be like the most hours that I put into one.
Fucking crazy.
What?
It's still so many hours.
So many hours, yeah. I mean,
I did. By the way, I don't know if this is an aberration, but I looked at your Switch profile today. You have more hours in Tears of the Kingdom than Breath of the Wild.
That can't be true.
You've got 165 hours in Tears of the Kingdom. Did you leave your Switch on for a week?
That can't be right. No, there's no way.
It's what it says. I don't know.
I definitely have not done that.
I know.
If it was,
I've also had problems with this timer thing, so I don't think it's totally accurate.
It would be, it would make sense if it was 70 hours. Like that feels like it makes sense.
So you don't know where that extra 100 came from?
Right. Yeah. It's like, that's like way off.
Keith, have you been sleep gaming again?
Maybe I've been sleep gaming. I mean, I'm such a power gamer. It's hard to physically
switch off even
my
when
body
you're
from
asleep.
gaming. Yeah. Anyway, I do think that 5 is really good. I'm having like a hard time. Like, people really seem down on Kiwami 1, and as someone who's like played Kiwami 1, Kiwami 2, 3, 4, and 5 remastered, like all in the last year and a half. Like, I'm kind of confused where that comes from. Like, to me, 4 and 5 are like not that much obviously better than Kiwami 1.
You think it wasn't just a case of people playing like only 0 and Kiwami 1 and being like, yeah, 0's better?
Yeah, this is like people who are like doing like favorite Yakuza game lists.
Okay. Huh.
0 is definitely better than Kiwami 1, but I do like these games. I like the characters that they introduce. You know, I'm into them. I like the plots have been fun. You know, like I don't think any of them are as sophisticated as like Judgment or Yakuza 0, but they have like some real charm.
Oh, Judgment. Right.
Judgment, the actual best Yakuza game.
Right. Oh, shit. There's so many of these fucking games.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Judgment is amazing. Oh my God. That game is so fucking good.
Jesus.
It's unbelievable. It's
God.
so good.
I almost wish you would stop saying this because there's no way it's going to be that good.
Have you played it?
No.
You got to play Judgment.
I know. You are always saying that.
You should play Judgment this week.
This week?
Challenge issued.
Should I play Judgment or Kiwami 2?
Cue up the Game Slave sound effect.
And you know, we're not going to... I'll tell you right now, we're not queuing up the artwork that Courtney drew for that segment. So, speaking of me playing games, let me tell you about some of the games I've been playing.
Diablo 1.
Wrong. It's on to Diablo 2 now, because I finished Diablo 1.
Damn.
I finished Diablo 1.
Congratulations on finishing Diablo 1 without getting fired.
Oh my God, thank you so much. I actually did get fired by Diablo. He shoots out flames.
Oh, okay, sure.
But I still have my job, and that's what counts.
Right.
So yeah. Diablo 2. I went through a roller coaster ride of emotions in trying to play Diablo 2 because Blizzard previously had a relatively generous way that you could input your CD key from your physical copy of Diablo 2. They'd give you a nice downloadable version that was like, would work properly on modern systems or whatever. And they do not do this anymore. They have obfuscated this system as much as possible so to make it as hard as possible to do this. Because they have Diablo 2 Resurrected now, the remake version of the game. And so I was totally infuriated by this. And I guess they took down the online service for Diablo 2, which is the other reason they don't want you to download it, because it's basically a useless game now. Mm-hmm. And so I was so pissed because I was like, motherfucker, I was already gonna buy the remake. I was just downloading the original so I could compare it to the remake, you jackass.
Right.
And now I'm all mad about buying your game, but I did buy it because I wanted it. And it turned out that maybe I didn't have to be so mad because the remake actually just has like the Halo Anniversary graphic swap button, so it really is just like the original Diablo 2, so it's not like a problem, but Blizzard continues to be more annoying than they need to be about everything.
Got it, yeah.
But Diablo 2 Resurrected is so fun!
Yeah?
I like it because it's Diablo 2 and that game's so good. And the update graphics look pretty good, but it doesn't matter if they're good or not because it has the original graphics and that's also nice.
What do you like about Diablo 2?
Boy, I don't know what it is exactly, but when I play that game, I'm just like, this is it. It's just the best.
This is it. It's just the best.
Simply the best. It's like I don't know. It's a top-down. Let's see. It's a top-down dungeon crawly, but it moves really fast. So one time I called it like the Mad Max of dungeon crawlers because you're just running at full clip and like fighting huge waves of monsters. I think it's got just a really solid like loot system where you're constantly finding new items with different special stat abilities. Ooh, this sword has 1 to 6 cold damage, but this other sword has a boost to my dexterity. And
how could you even choose?
Easy to play, fun to play. Lots of different character classes that have cool abilities.
Easy to play, hard to master, would you say?
Easy to play, hard to master. That's the perfect way to put it. It's got Deckard Cain, and we're not saying no to that guy. And it has a good look to it. Great music. The music is so good. And they didn't even, like, touch the music. Like, I don't even think they redid the music.
Oh,
or if
that's
they
good.
if they did redo it, they
did a good job.
Redid it so perfectly I can't tell.
Yeah.
And at
that point, why even bother?
Why exactly? And maybe they didn't.
Right, they didn't.
But
bother.
in a similar situation, they the fully rendered CG cutscenes in the original Diablo 2, while few in number, were really good and people liked them a lot. It's from that era where like good CG cutscenes were like people loved them. It was like their reward for playing through the game or something. It was kind of that vibe, like, oh, these cutscenes are so cool, even though there's like 2 minutes of cutscenes. Okay, well, it exists. And
I'm sure that I felt like that at some point, but I just I have no memory of feeling that way.
I love so much that they did this. It's almost stupid. I don't really know why they did it, but I'm glad that if they were going to redo the cutscenes, they did it this way, which is they reanimated the cutscenes, like it looks better, but they still took effort to make it so close to the original that it still captures like the weird floaty animation and like the ugly human characters back when like people weren't good at making 3D models of humans or whatever, so they just look really weird.
Right.
So I just appreciate that instead of making a redone cutscene that just looks totally different, they instead went the other way and made a like cutscene that looks really weird for the sake of being really accurate, which of course is the type of remake I'm going to appreciate. And it's good, got controller support. Playing original graphics Diablo with a controller is very nice. What's not cool is that the online service is really unreliable. Like, there's so many times when like I have to try to launch the game 4 times before the online works. That sucks ass.
That does sound like it sucks ass.
And I was looking, and this remake, it was on sale for $14 on Switch. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. And so now I have cross-platform Diablo 2 on my Switch. And
is that useful? You find that useful?
Well, no, because I'm usually playing online, so it's not useful to play it portably because it's not online. This just to add more of like Blizzard's fucking bullshit shenanigans. I downloaded the Switch version of Diablo 2 on my Switch, and I downloaded it, didn't have time to launch it, took it to work with me like, oh, I'll play some offline Diablo on my lunch break. I go to try that. It doesn't work because there's no online service, because you can't play the Switch version offline until you have logged online once to authenticate your copy of the game, and then you are allowed to play offline.
Boo!
Boo!
We hate that!
Fucking boo! Fuck you guys! You suck.
I don't want to.
Isn't it enough to own all the most successful games in history? Why must you be like this? Do you also have to
be the most hated?
Well, you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Damn. And that was Blizzard, I think, that even coined that.
Yeah, that was me. I wrote that just now.
Wow.
Yep.
I thought that was from World of Warcraft.
It was actually from their spin-off World of Spidercraft.
Oh.
Everything was a spider, either shaped like a spider or had spider abilities.
Okay, that's fair, and I like that. What else you playing?
I've also been playing a little bit of the Pikmin Quattro.
Oh, yes. You briefly told me about this the other day.
I briefly told you about this the other day. Another roller coaster of emotions, because I buy this game hoping, not strongly hoping, because I've been burned before.
Hoping against hope, maybe.
Hoping against hope that there's some form of online multiplayer in this game.
It's funny because that's a quick Google could answer that for you.
Well, I knew that I was going to buy it anyways, so I was just like, I'll find out on launch day. Who gives a shit? And also, maybe I just didn't want my feelings hurt prematurely. It was like I didn't want to look because I knew I had a feeling, but I didn't want to be certain. You know?
Sure.
Hoping against hope, you might say.
Right.
But it didn't have any online, and that's sad to me. But so I play the.
This is a feature that they've been wanting to have since 2, right?
Well, yeah, that was couch co-op.
Oh,
they
right.
Didn't have.
Sure.
I think so far maybe 3 or even just 3 Deluxe is the only game that's made good on the couch co-op thing. Up to this
4
point.
also doesn't have couch co-op?
Well, it does, but it has like the Mario Galaxy style, like one person is a cursor who can help.
Girlfriend mode.
Girlfriend mode, if you will.
Because they can't trust them with the whole character? You stupid?
Well, no, it's not that they can't be trusted. It's
No,
that
it is.
No, Keith, it's that you understand that they have to leave to make dinner in the middle of the play session. If they were player 1, that would cause a huge problem.
Well, duh, because it's both. It's actually both, yeah.
And both the thing I said and the term girlfriend mode were both coined by the developers of Mario Galaxy for their 2-player mode. We didn't say any of that stuff. Originally.
Well, we did say it. We just
repeated it. We didn't invent it. We repeated it.
Right. We're like children. We didn't say the bad word on purpose. We're just repeating it.
In this game, you have a helper. It's actually, you have something better than a second player, which is you have an extremely obedient dog that will do anything you say, which is better than a girlfriend, if you ask me, right? Up high, I'm so lonely. So another disappointment.
And
with
you
this
don't
game.
even have a dog, so.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Jeez. I played a teensy little bit of the demo of Pikmin 4. The demo features Captain Olimar, the main character of Pikmin. Maybe you've heard of him. He's a little spaceman. Throws
Heard
Pikmin.
of him. Yeah, he's from Smash Brothers.
Yeah. And he's got a blue dog in the demo, but it's a different dog that's on the cover, and I'm like a little confused by this, but I'm not thinking that much of it. I'm like, whatever. So I launch the game after I've purchased it. I get to this intro tutorial section with Captain Olimar. I play through it. It's very annoying because it's like holding my hand through basic Pikmin stuff or whatever,
Yeah.
but whatever. It's teaching me to play the game. Then the tutorial section's over. And so is the Captain Olimar section, because you don't play as Captain Olimar in this game. Instead, you create your own custom create an Olimar, like Sonic Forces style, make your own Sonic
Make
thing.
your own dog.
Person, not dog.
Wait, but then why was the dog different?
Well, because the dog on the cover is your dog. The blue dog is Captain Olimar's dog.
Oh, so the cover has Olimar because you're not going to recognize the non-Olimar.
No. The cover doesn't. Sorry,
The
I was
cover
saying
doesn't
like,
have Olimar at all?
I'm saying I'm looking at the demo.
Oh,
with
Nintendo, you're
Olimar.
confusing the hell out of me.
Let me try to explain. I'm sorry. This is so confusing. I'm playing the demo. The demo's got Captain Olimar with a blue dog.
Okay.
And I'm looking at the box. And the box doesn't feature any humanoid characters, but it features a brown dog. And I'm like, weird, different dog. Come to find out, there's a reason for that. Because you don't even play as Captain Olimar in this game. Instead, you're making some fucking bootleg-ass fake Captain Olimar. And this is annoying me for a slightly counterintuitive reason, right? Like, I could see the argument where you're like, who gives a shit about Captain Olimar? He's basically not a character. Who gives a shit?
Well, he's Space Mario.
It doesn't matter who you are, but he's Space Mario. And I think Mario is the perfect example, right? Like, if you bought a Mario game and the first thing is like, create your character, you're like, what? No.
I'm here to play as Mario.
I'm here to play as Mario. And it's like specifically the fact that you don't care about him, right? It's like the game's not about Mario or what he looks like. It's about running and jumping. So asking me to create my own does nothing for me. I don't want to create a Mario. Who cares?
Right, exactly. You're saying this other fucking guy might as well just be Olimar.
Right.
Olimar's just the guy I play when I'm not thinking about the guy I'm playing.
Yeah, like literally the only thing Captain Olimar is the guy who does the Pikmin where to you go. Play as in Pikmin. Like, it's his only purpose for existing.
Right. So you're saying if he's not doing that,
what's he doing?
What's he doing? And the answer is he's whacking it. He's whacking off.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he's in the bushes whacking off for this one.
And when he's not whacking, he's giving it to Louie. We know.
He's giving it. Yeah, he's whacking, he's jacking, he's giving it to Louie.
And I don't even want to know how the blue dog comes into this whole equation. So Captain Olimar is who you're trying to find and rescue in this game. So you're constantly finding notes left by Captain Olimar. And I admit it makes some sense because it's like Captain Olimar's story. Yeah, because
they made it make sense.
Because he's, it's like Captain Olimar's story is in the first game. He already knows all about Pikmin. Well, you're just going to play a Pikmin expert every time? You gotta play as some fucking chud who doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. I assume is the logic behind all this.
Wait, so the character that you create is a cannibalistic humanoid underground dweller?
It's true. They live underground and they only eat other cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers.
It's funny
People don't realize that the cannibal in Chud only refers to other Chuds. That's what makes them a cannibal. You see what I'm saying?
No, I disagree.
They cannibalize Chuds.
No, they eat people.
What?
They eat people. That's what makes it a horror movie.
Oh, you're telling me I've been going through my whole life not crippled with fear of the Chud when this whole time I should have been extremely afeared of these Chuds?
The Chud can and will get you.
I'm afeared. Keith?
They might also eat other Chuds. I don't know.
I'm afeared of these Chuds.
And I think that's right and just.
Thank you. So, it's Pikmin 4. I'm starting off bad foot, Keith. Starting off on a bad foot with this game. I'm like...
Because you're like, I had to make this guy. Where's Olimar?
You're not fucking giving me...
I care about playing as him because I don't care about him.
And that makes sense. Makes me care. And no one can question that. Well, I'm also thinking, if Pikmin, like, I would concede, as I did with Pikmin 3, I'm like, oh, well, no one knows who Olimar is, no one cares. But since then, Olimar has been in Smash Brothers.
He's a superstar in Smash.
Now Olimar is the only thing people know about Pikmin. So
he throws Pikmin in as Olimar in Smash.
Yeah.
So they know about the Pikmin.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I'm just trying to set the record straight.
Yeah. No. I'm hearing that. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. So I started off on a bad foot in this game.
Do you need to reset again? You need to do one last reset.
So this game's pissing me off because I'm playing as some random nobody, and the game informs me that the primary objective of the game is to rescue a bunch of other nobodies. They're like, all these nobodies crashed on this planet. You got to go.
Why did they have you rescue Olimar?
Them. I guess they do, but it comes late. That they didn't tell me that was like a secret objective. Okay. And my primary objective is rescue these nobodies. And and I rescue some of them, and they're fucking talking, and they won't stop talking, and they keep. But it's with they're not really talking. They're saying letter words that I have to read with my eyeballs.
Yeah.
And they're saying words and words and words. And I'm playing the game, and it feels limited. Like, I don't have these abilities that have been in other Pikmin games. And I'm like, why is it like this? And they keep saying words to me. And I keep having to rescue nobody people that say more words.
Oh, my God. These people are so inconsequential to me.
I'm like, why did Nintendo do this? Why did they ruin Pikmin? Why is it like this?
Tell me why. The people want Olimar.
Yeah, and in this whole process, this part where I'm getting pissed off, another thing I'm getting annoyed by is they are re-tutorializing all of the things that they literally already tutorialized in the Olimar tutorial section. So it's like I'm learning everything twice now.
Oh, brother.
And it's pissing me off, Keith. But as I put in more time with the game, I start to unlock more abilities, and I see that, okay, the abilities are not absent from the game. They are simply held back until the developers feel, I don't know, like you understand Pikmin more. I concede that Pikmin is a much more complicated game than most Nintendo games, but I'm not sure that it was really necessary, but okay.
And you're an old hat at this. So.
I'm an old hat at this, and I'm seeing, you know what? These levels are actually well designed, and it brings back the dungeons from Pikmin 2, but it maybe even does them a little bit better, and I'm noticing, like, this game's really a lot like Pikmin 2, but it's actually not making some of the same mistakes that Pikmin 2 made, and I'm starting to appreciate some of these new control things, and I'm like, you know what? I gotta give it up. This Pikmin, unlike Pikmin 3, it actually stands up against those other Pikmins, maybe even a little bit better than them. I mean,
nice.
Obviously, lack of Olimar, serious flaw, but, if you...
Sounds like Olimar actually is pretty important.
They're kind of improving on the controls. Last time I complained about how Pikmin 3 didn't have that right stick control the Pikmin thing.
Brought it back?
I haven't unlocked it yet, but they brought it back by making it camera on the right stick, but then just hold the L button if you want the right stick to be control the Pikmin.
Obvious.
Boom. Smart. And the D-pad buttons are blank, and you get to assign different abilities to them. There's, I was annoyed at first that, it had a bunch of abilities that it put all on one radial menu, and I'm like, that's annoying, but you can assign the different parts of the radial menu to individual buttons if you want, so it's a little bit better. So I've been really enjoying my time with Pikmin 4 now that I am further in the game, but I still wish all these nobodies would stop talking to me so goddamn much. It's one of those things, it's not just the frequency of the talking. It's like every time they say something, it's twice as much as they need to say. And it's just like, why? Like, whoever was writing this thing had some real fucking twitchy keyboard fingers.
Yeah, that is the way games that over tutorialize you and also seem to be extremely verbose in their tutorialization. It's like, okay, if you're going to tell me every fucking thing that I have to do, could you at least be quick about it? No, we cannot.
You. Yeah, and Pikmin has never been devoid of dialogue to read, but in my mind, part of what I love about the scenario of original Pikmin is the solitude of it. Like, one guy crashes on this mysterious planet, he's all by himself, and he has to recruit the help of these little plant people to escape this planet. And then here in Pikmin 4, it's talk to all these fucking chuds. You'll never run out of chuds to talk to. And I'm I don't need any of these chuds.
These cannibalistic humanoid underarm dwellers are talking my ear off, and then they're biting my ear off.
Get these chuds out of my armpits. They're all dwelling under my arms.
Under cannibalistic humanoid underarm dwellers?
Yeah. You said underarm dweller.
Did I say underarm dweller?
Yeah, you said cannibalistic humanoid underarm dweller. Get some tough ass in Tinactin. Knock that right out.
We got anything else for today?
Oh my God, we're done now?
It's been 2.5 hours.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it flew by. It was that, you know what it was? That monster drink with the 8 sugars unlocked your hidden potential.
No, dude. Cheryl and I both got them, but she didn't like hers, so I drank both of them.
Oh, so this is like Over the Hedge.
Yeah.
You're over the hedging.
Oh my god, yeah, it's just like that movie.
Yeah.
It's got the turtles.
Yeah, it's got.
Oh, they love snacks.
The character that drinks all the coffee. That's what this one is.
Oh.
Yeah, the squirrel drinks coffee and then goes into slow motion. I believe it's Steve Carell.
Oh, of course. Ah, jeez. And now, honestly, I feel a little bit embarrassed that I didn't remember the most memorable part of extremely memorable movie Over the Hedge.
I'm actually surprised that you even remembered it. I kind of was expecting you to be like, what is Over the Hedge?
Well, would you be shocked to know I've never actually seen Over the Hedge? I've just recently watched videos on YouTube talking about Over the Hedge.
Okay, so normally that ridiculous thing that you said wouldn't shock me because I know that that's an extremely foolish thing that you do.
Okay.
But it does shock me that someone's making videos on Over the Hedge.
Yeah. Big Joel, man. We love Big Joel.
Big Joel is making over. Why is Big Joel making Over the Head? I'm
He
saying
had
this like I know anything about Big Joel. I've never seen a Big Joel video in my life. But it's just, why is anyone making an Over the Hedge video?
Well, first of all, Keith, I gotta let you in on the funniest joke about Big Joel. Big Joel, he's actually, don't let him hear you. Don't let him hear that I said this. He's actually kind of small.
So that's
He's
why
actually like
he's
a
making
littler
Over the
guy.
Hedge.
He's not the biggest Joel. Isn't that funny?
That is funny. That's really funny.
He had a series of videos called The Trash Era of DreamWorks where he
that's fun.
Does the serious thematic analysis of a shitty kids movie and
Over the Hedge isn't trash. It's fine.
Okay, yeah, it's the fine era of
it's the trash era, but that one is fine.
Yeah, it's fine. But when it comes out 4 years after Shrek, you're like, what happened?
Over the Hedge is better than Shrek.
What? I haven't seen it, but that
it's-
sounds impossible.
Shrek is not that good.
I'm not even a Shrek head. You're right.
Shrek is not that good of a movie. It's fine. It's only fine.
Could I say I feel completely insane that we have to say Shrek is not that good? Because I feel like there was a time when that was obvious.
So this is the mental deterioration of ideas. Everyone understands that Shrek is fine for 10 years. And it's so fine that it becomes funny to talk about it like it's good. And then somehow people get it in their heads that it's actually good and then actually feel that way.
Nah, I think it's just all the people that were 4 and 5 when Shrek came out on video. They're adults now and they're trying to force it down our
the
fucking
Shrek
throats.
is good thing started a decade ago.
Yeah, that's when they became adults.
No, the 6-year-olds who liked Shrek in 2002 didn't become adults in 2013.
Pretty close, though.
Okay, close-ish. But I know that it was a meme. It wasn't sincere. It was a joke that Shrek was good. And then that became serious over time.
Oh, well, yes, of course. We all know that Shrek is love, Shrek is life.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing with it's the exact same thing with the Twitter logo. People laughing at Elon Musk for switching out to an X because it's so much worse. And then that somehow translates into people being like, yeah, it is worse. The bird was great.
I think it turns out people actually were emotionally attached to that bird.
It at least only reveals itself after, the level-headed sort of, the sort of from a distance clinical analysis of, the X is stupid, this is a massive error, this is a total own goal, to swap the X for the bird is so stupid. And then you get the people being like, yes, the bird was good. It's the X that's bad.
Yeah. the X is the problem.
The X is the problem.
It is really funny to treat it like Twitter just got bad because they changed it to an X. Like, is it like we have like completely? This is the madness of like the Trump Elon era. Is how easily these people keep moving the goalposts on their own stupidity.
Yeah, it's like the entire world is a sign that's pointing at the world that says, this is the world. And people are like looking at the world and the sign back and forth, like, which, and then they settle on, I think the sign is the world. The sign that says, this is the world, the sign is an arrow pointing at the world. They go, oh, this is the world. The sign is the world.
We are the world. We are the children. I don't know any of the other words to the rest of the song.
I don't know either. Does that make sense? Am I making sense?
No, sorry.
Okay. I'm going to say it one more time.
Okay.
There's a sign.
We'll go out on this.
And there's the world. The sign is an arrow.
I know what you're describing. I just don't know what you mean.
And the text on the sign says, this is the world.
Yeah.
And then you are the people in the world looking at the sign and saying, but you're pointing at the sign and you're saying that's the world.
You're saying that people are reading all the problems with Twitter, the service, into just the icon. You're like, if the icon changed, everything would be fixed.
But they're doing that with everything in their lives. Everyone is doing that with everything.
It is true, isn't it?
Everyone keeps looking at the sign that says, this is the world, pointing at the world and saying, yep, the sign is the world. The sign says the sign's the world.
The sign's the world. The sign's the children. Is that the end? Did we just go out?
Yeah, we just went out.
All right, cool.
All right.
Good game. Let's clap. Good game. Let's clap.
Good game.
3, 2, 1.
Do you know what it is? Sorry, we're back in the show.
Ooh, shit. What is it?
How much Bob's Burgers have you seen?
A healthy amount, but not enough to like know the show.
Okay, so here's the like this is the thing that they're constantly doing with Linda Belcher, the mother character in the show. Like she is constantly swapping like icons and what they represent. Like she's constantly misinterpreting representations as reality. In like a way that is really weird, because I don't know that that's what they're doing I don't know that they're doing that on purpose, but it's just sort of like I think they're just trying to be like she's kind of trivial.
Do you have an example?
Yes, I do have an example. Like it'll be something like all of her kids like working together and like they all got in trouble because they like broke out of school or something, and she'll stop them in the middle of like of the thing to like go like aw at the fact that they were working together. Or like there's another this is a better example. She has that
was a terrible example because I do think that kids should work together to break out of school.
But mothers don't think that.
Right, yeah.
So it's Christmas and she has this idea to go out caroling, and she has the idea of like the platonic caroling experience.
Right.
And the which is like you go from door to door, you start singing, people love it, they offer you hot cider, they offer you like milk and cookies. Maybe some of them even join in and are caroling with you door to door, and you have just brought Christmas spirit to a neighborhood by caroling. Right. And instead, everyone is annoyed at the caroling because caroling is annoying. Right. And she is getting like this is like breaking her brain. She's like losing control because this sort of platonic ideal of Christmas is not like matching up with her reality.
Yeah.
And that is a sort of thing that happens like all the time with that character, is like missing, especially holiday episodes for some reason. Right. But it's like constantly interpreting the world through like emojis, like platonic ideals of symbols.
Through narrative, right? That's exactly like you're talking. Holidays are the perfect example because there's narratives about what they are and how they go. Like, it's not just like, this is the historical event that the holiday is about, but it's also like, these are the things you do on the holidays, and these are the results you'll get when you do those things. And then it's like realizing that narrative does not always match with reality, because it's like, you know, there's two Christmases. There's Christmas in your mind, and there's Christmas the way it happens, and they're not
sad.
the same thing. Yeah.
That's the inherent sadness of Christmas, is that the real Christmas isn't the Christmas in your mind. That's why Christmas is always kind of sad. In a nice way, sort of.
But one year, I didn't imagine that on Christmas I would go to see the Fellowship of the Ring in theaters for the first time and think it was amazing. But that did happen on Christmas. Yeah, that was like even better.
Well, you were
than
a
my
kid.
idea.
That's when the Christmas in your mind gets formulated. So the Christmases of your youth are actually the Christmases in your mind.
Every year this time, on December 25th, I go to the movie theater. They're never showing Fellowship of the Ring. They're only showing the extended edition, but it's too long.
This is another great example of this. And I think honestly, this is the example that proves that they know that they're doing this with her character. I think that it starts with her trying to give Jean, played by hometown hero of yours, Eugene Merman.
Eugene Merman
of Lexington, Massachusetts.
That's funny. You said hometown hero, and I was like, what's he, from Providence?
No, hometown of yours. And cuts his hair, and it like turns out really bad, and like leaves a bald spot on his head. And so he like decides to turn himself into his father, into Bob. So he like puts on a schlubby t-shirt and sweatpants and like glues his hair to his lip to give himself a mustache, and starts acting like Bob. And like Bob is very annoyed by this. He's like, stop it. Quit it. Don't do that. And Linda is like, oh my God, it's so confusing. Linda's like, no, it's not confusing. And like, you know, Gene is like helping his sister through her problems like he's her father. And she'll go like, oh, he's so good to the kids. And it just feels like genuinely thrown off by this. Like, because all she sees is like, bald head, mustache, scrubby shirt, sweatpants. That's my husband. It's really funny, but that is like, I like can't get this idea out of my head of like this like version of like people like not being able to separate the, you know, all these signifiers with the things that they actually represent.
Remember, I forget how someone phrased this, but I saw a tweet that was like making fun of how like, or God, I don't think this was a tweet. I think this was an episode of Stop Podcasting Yourself from during the Trump years or something. And they were joking about how like at the time it was like this constant ping ponging of like public opinion of like, Trump does something, he's like, how unpresidential? And then he does something else. Ooh, he looks presidential now. And then he does something else. That's not presidential.
So embarrassing.
And then, he like wears a suit and they're like, now he seems presidential. It's like, they're literally trying to judge the man based on a single action one at a time, when it's like, clearly the whole is very negative.
Look, what is a man but one single secret happening over and over again? They don't accumulate. What is a man but a miserable series of secrets?
A miserable series of secrets in which you never remember any of the previous secrets.
It
like,
is
dude,
really like...
We already had a tape of him admitting to wanton sexual assault before we elected him.
Yeah. It was literally an October surprise. I mean, maybe not literally, but it was close. It was very close.
What is the October surprise?
Oh, that's like when some big reveal, negative reveal happens in October before the November election. And so the October news cycle is like totally consumed by this thing.
Yeah, and we were so sure that would bring Trump down, but we completely forgot. No one could have foreseen the fact that Hillary Clinton had an email server.
I mean, that email server was a problem.
Sure.
I'm a defender of the people who didn't like Hillary because I mean, there's a billion reasons to not like Hillary
there was
Clinton.
plenty of reasons.
Like I don't think
but you see the absolute madness of having only two, like getting down to the point where there's only two options left. There's Hillary Clinton and there's Trump. And Trump's like, I go around raping every woman I see. And the woman has a private email server. And which one is the one we couldn't vote for?
I think that there's like I think that the issue here is actually that the email server thing was a huge deal during the whole primary and continued to be a thing.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And continued to be a thing when when after Trump was elected, when Hillary people were like mad at Bernie people saying like all this because you didn't like the emails thing. But I think actually during the election season proper, during that one summer, I don't think that there was a lot of focus on people who were like, I'm torn between the two, or like, I'm definitely a Hillary voter. I'm definitely Trump. I think that it mostly was like Trump being like, trying to capitalize on the emails thing. I don't really think it ended. I don't really think that it did anything to hurt her.
Yeah, maybe not, but it was still insane. Specifically the James Comey letter.
Yeah, the Comey letter was insane. It
was like the election was on the horizon. Anyone with a brain knew that Trump would be a really, really, really bad president, and the email scandal had kind of died down at that point. And then the director of the FBI just writes a letter that's like, just so everyone knows, I'm still really concerned about these emails.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
What the fuck was that?
And then that guy gets, immediately fired by Trump?
Yeah, he gets immediately fired by Trump. I mean,
what a little cuck.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Well, because and it wasn't the thing where it's like,
did I lick your balls good enough?
Trump gets
no,
elected.
You didn't.
Trump gets elected president, and then wasn't it like he has a dinner with James Comey where, like, in so many words, Trump is like, so like you're gonna tell a bunch of lies for me whenever I want, right? And he's like, oh no, probably not. Like,
yeah,
okay,
and Trump
you're
is
fired.
a fucking. This is like the stupidity of Trump. This is like the real actual thing. Like, Trump can't let anything be unsaid because, like, the real truth is, of course, the FBI is gonna lie out their fucking teeth for you,
right.
But he just can't say it. But Trump is like, no, I only want people who will admit to all their crimes.
Yeah. That's the funniest thing is, like, I feel like a high level person at the FBI is exactly the kind of person who would see a huge difference in doing bad things and lying about it and stating outright that you're breaking the law.
Although maybe this is actually like what makes Trump so survivable is that he surrounds himself with people who are like incapable of concealing their crimes.
It's like, you remember the Nixon thing, right? It wasn't the crime, it was the cover up. And Trump's takeaway was, don't cover anything up.
Yeah,
just
don't cover anything up.
Leave all your crimes in broad daylight.
And it's funny because then the media does all the work of having to make him look like only 5% out of line when actually he's like 85% out of line.
Well, it's almost like the news is so used to dealing with people who won't admit a single word of anything. They're so used to operating in that zone of like, well, we just literally can't be certain of anything because no one will admit to anything. And they just transfer this tone directly onto Trump, and it's like literal madness because it's like, well, yeah, I mean, he's directly saying that he hates all these people and thinks that they're from shithole countries, but who could really say what he thinks? Yeah, there's no way to know.
There's no way, it's really like like playing peekaboo with a baby, like hiding your hands, and they're like, "What is he racist?" And then peekaboo's like, "Oh,
oh my god." Yeah, this was the time period, and what a sweet innocent time it was when the news was going around asking people if they were racist. Do you remember this? Like, I've had this fucking
Vaguely.
I've had this clip of this fucking Australian guy who's, it was like the Australian Trump or whatever, like this Australian guy in my head. There's this news clip where they go like, "Are you racist?" And he's like, "Are we racist? Well, we're Australian. I don't know if that's racist or not, but we're not going to apologize for it."
I'm not racist. I'm Australian. He's so funny.